know Silver said that to me one time. He was like, I'm thinking about like not planning anything. And I'm like, dude, that's how all of my streams are. I don't plan anything. I just go live.
Well,
And then
they
I
can't
wait
really
for
go
Rumble.
wrong.
What's that?
You can't really go wrong if you don't have a plan. It's like, that's exactly what we meant to do. It turned out exactly the way we'd hoped, which was.
I mean, I don't know. Whenever I like outline something, it never works. We always get off track. Someday, this is going to show us live for me. Oh my gosh. Rumble's like, you haven't been here forever.
Right. Dust the cobwebs off.
We're not going to let you go live.
Who are you?
No live for you.
Rumble's been talking crap about you too, apparently.
Killer, are we live? Can you hear us?
Well, we're getting the squinty eyes. Imagining little.
It's legit not going. It's like my browser is not showing us as live. What about you?
So I've got it pulled up. Let me see.
Oh, there we go. Now it's finally working. Okay. It kept playing my video.
Oh yeah. Oh, I usually have like 10 to 15, maybe even 20-second delays every time I stream anything. So yeah, it sometimes takes a while.
I hear you. Hello, Killer. Welcome. And welcome everybody else to the Bare Truth. I have Schwaaard on. This was completely a by the seat of our pants stream that got set up 2 hours ago. What, we made plans yesterday?
Yeah, I believe it was just a random. I saw you were saying, hey, looking for conversations. So I just kind of threw something in the mix, and it was very off the cuff, and it's been very off the cuff ever since.
That's how I roll. I can't be bothered to put effort into it.
Well, I did a lot of studying on the subject. I have references, so I'll be bringing those into play. I'm kidding, of course. I didn't either. But
on the Bare Truth or on relationships?
Well, I mean, I did. I watched a few videos just to kind of get a better feel. I mean, I've watched you play Diablo. You have Diablo 4, in the mornings and such. So I'm familiar, but I just was familiarized myself there. But I hadn't really done any research on the subject. I consider myself an expert, and I think I can be one based on the credentials of other experts that have been circulating. So
you can fake it till you make it, is what you're saying?
Oh yes, I will. I'll just fake it in perpetuity.
That's what I do half the time. Hey, Condor, welcome. Doing our sound check. Hey, Schwaaard and Diebear, all moving up in Rumble. I hope so. I completely disconnected this last week. I even unfollowed Rumble on Twitter. No offense, Mario, I love you, but like I needed a break.
Wow.
I really needed it. Are you top G? I don't know. You guys tell us if we're top G. You think we're top G?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Apparently I'm not then. I have a feeling if you don't know what top G is, you're not top G.
I think that's like, I could have sworn that's like millennial speak. I'm only I'm a generation once removed.
I'm on the cusp. Depending on who you talk to, I'm either a millennial or Gen X.
What year were you born?
80.
Oh, you're Gen X.
Am I Gen X? Okay, good.
Yeah, someone tried to shift it. Some organization tried to shift the years, and it's like,
yeah,
1980 is not millennial. Like 83
it didn't feel right.
83 at the earliest, like latest, I should say. I don't know. 83 is the cutoff. Top G is an Andrew Tate thing. What does it mean? Can you translate Andrew Tate for me?
Tate speak. That's Tate speech.
Tate speak. It's Tate speech. That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought maybe Top Gun, but
you're 81. Wow, all y'all are youngins. I like the old lady here. That's the reputation on Rumble, at least. 5 years old.
The wise. It is the wise.
Sometimes I'm not.
No, wiser. Default. I think you have.
I fake it till I make it. It's my strategy.
Well, and clearly I can't argue with that wisdom. So
you're guilty as well. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? And what's your gig on Rumble?
Who I am, well, crap, I forget the first part of the, but what I do right now, currently I'm a video editor for a nonprofit. But I also do, I pretty much all aspects of production, camera work, production, all that kind of stuff. That's my wheelhouse. That's my jam. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I like to do. I started off doing theater and went from there into, very, very teeny tiny, small, like Discovery Channel reenactment type acting gigs and everything. And eventually I transitioned from that to wanting to direct and writing. And so I've been plugging away at both, kind of behind the scenes, did some freelance filmmaking for about 2 years, and then got taxed to oblivion. And so I was fortunate enough to land a gig here doing the editing, and that just has kind of built from there. And I'm on Rumble kind of doing the same thing. I started off on YouTube probably 5 or 6 years ago, just doing small projects to get familiar with film equipment. I had a little Logitech webcam, that only had like 10 frames per second pretty much, and just kind of built a knowledge from there and taught myself how to do it while making small little videos, mostly for my own amusement. Nobody else seemed to be amused by them. But I've always loved video gaming. And so it just seemed like a nice natural transition in the past time. So now it's a really great hobby, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, and it's keeping me busy. So I can't complain.
Awesome. Wow. So editing, like, that is what you do.
It is. I'm not a high level, like we have a graphics, like graphic editor guy who actually does like After Effects and those kinds of things. I'm more of like a brick and mortar, just your basic, get it done, get it on the timeline, do your color corrections and audio effects and everything, and get it out the door. So it's more of about a speed and cranking out, which dovetails very nicely with content creation, because you just, especially if you're recording, you're just cranking out videos left and right. So it works out well, but I'm not, you wouldn't catch any of my stuff being on a highlight reel. It's not spectacular.
Man, if I could afford an editor, that would be amazing, because I love doing videos, but it's so time consuming.
Well, especially with the flourishes, because a lot of the edits, like if you just do a basic cut, like, okay, here's a dead spot or what have you, intro, outro, that's very simple. But when you see these,
it takes a lot of time though. It really does, because I've done a lot of that, and then like sound adjustments too.
Yes,
so much time. Like I have 10-minute videos on Rumble that took me like 2 to 4 hours to edit, because there's just so much crap going on.
Yeah. So, well, I can give you. We'll try it out at some point. You can throw a video, and we'll see how long the turnaround time is. Well,
it's crazy.
But I saw
Glitch. What's up, Glitch? You have a Mattel Vinster, 15 FPS, like a security camera. Oh lordy, dude. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna ask. Well, clearly you at least. I'm guessing you have some graphical familiarity. You've put together a fantastic thumbnail. So are you? And you've done editing. Do you edit in Premiere? What's your focus of expertise?
I use DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, great.
And then it helps that I've been using computers forever and teaching myself everything. Like I taught myself HTML and CSS5. I've done my own like websites. Started my own business. Did my website for that. That had a oh my gosh. English. Like I ended up subscribing. I had a subscription to a really basic CRM that I needed for managing my customers. And then I worked with PayPal to allow people to actually purchase my packages that I offered. Mm-hmm. And so they could use the CRM. Well, then I had separate scheduling software. So I used everything through the website to allow them to schedule their own appointments, because I was one person. I had my own resume and coaching business. Oh. And so they would schedule the appointments, and then I would call them using Google, because I had my phone number through them. And then the CRM is where I don't think the CRM really did anything interfacing wise with the website, but PayPal, of course, they had to do all their transactions through Pay. So they were my payment processor. And it's funny because we were talking in the Rumble Discord about chargebacks from people who rant, and subs should never be charged back. That's a no-go. Rumble needs to fix that, and that's a them thing. Twitch has taken care of that, and then I've never had a dispute on Twitch, although I do know that they absorb costs if someone does gift subs. and they decide to charge them back, I learned that Twitch will absorb those costs. And I don't necessarily expect Rumble to do that right now, but they do need to create some kind of a cushion. And then I think people's biggest concern is PayPal. But here's the thing. Like, I had a guy expect expedited services from you when I was running that business. And I was able to take everything that was on my website, the packages, the TOS, and then I showed through PayPal what he purchased. And they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to let him do this chargeback. Wow. So I won it because of documentation. So I actually made my suggestion in the Rumble Discord and then GTFO'd because, like, I'm not playing in the Rumble Discord this week, even though I kind of made an appearance a couple times. But that was something I was really passionate about that came up. So I went in not as a moderator, but as I did one mod thing this week. I like helped somebody with someone and then got out. But I went in as a customer, like, hey, this is a huge deal. People can't afford to have chargebacks, especially if they're small streamers. And this will be abused because it used to be abused on Twitch and Streamlabs. And that's why they created systems to cushion it. And I guess they will automatically, on your behalf, fight the chargebacks and win most of them because it is a simple TOS thing. Like, look, bro, you're putting in your credit card number and you're verifying that you want to do this. Like, this isn't a mistake. Right. It's not. Just stop already.
Sometimes very fitful sneezes can result in spasms over the key. I mean, it's happened to me several times.
Yeah, you can totally put in that 16-digit code with that, security number, and then also match up the expiration date. It's amazing how just like will make that happen. But
it need to be more than 3 digits. That's all.
I don't know, man. If you sneeze hard enough, it'll get all those numbers in there.
True.
So the topic was actually chosen by you today, and it is online friends. Are they real? And I thought about maybe bringing up the parasocial thing, but I didn't want to put it in the title because they're two different things, actually. So a parasocial relationship, folks, is when you have someone, let's say like Pokimane. There are a lot of people who go to her stream and they're simps. They tip her a ton of money and they feel like there's something there, even though there's not. And it's true. You watch somebody enough, you're going to feel like there's something there. You get to know the person. I think most streamers are authentic to a degree. And killer, oops, my mistake. Oh my gosh, you accidentally ran to the puck. Oh, I hope that doesn't break your bank. If there's a chargeback for 80 cents, I'm going to know who it came from.
He does sneeze often.
That's why his name is Killer. The SCV is just to disguise himself.
Takes the edge off.
But then you have friendships, and I think online friendships sometimes are more authentic than what you have in real life because real life friendships tend to be because you run in the same circles and it's kind of a matter of convenience. But the reality is, before the internet was even a thing, they'd say that you could only count your real friends on one hand, meaning you have fewer real friends than you think. The great majority of people that you know are acquaintances. They are not loyal to you. At the end of the day, they don't really care about you. It's just, you guys come together because it is what it is. Yep. And like you have, like at work, we all have work friendships, but like, we're never going to talk to these people again when we leave work.
Yeah. Yep.
my last job, my last employment, because I did a lot of gig work when I said, screw this commute. One person keeps in touch with me. And then another person who I helped get into the job, he will periodically show up to my stream if I'm on Twitch. So, but when it comes to friendships and people who actually know me and who are there for me when I do need help, they're all part of the Destiny 2 community from Twitch. Wow. These are people I've known for like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Or they just know me from streaming. Yo, Nifty, thank you for the buck. That's another accidental rant. Let's go. I have 3 friends. We are the only people who will put up with each other, and online friends are like coworkers. A lot of them are. Yeah. But I have found that there are a few people who I do have deep relationships with. Some of them I've met in real life, and we've been with each other through some stuff, and no one's going to rip it apart.
Yeah.
There is a major authenticity there, but it's so real. You're right though. Like when you look at the Rumble thing, like is there anyone here on Rumble who I'm going to take with me to the next place, whatever that is? And right now, the answer is no. I don't know anyone that well. There's no demonstrated relationship there.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's exactly. I actually, unfortunately, you're probably not supposed to say this, but I actually irked a young lady back in college days because we kind of exactly what you said. We were in the same circle because we were in certain programs together, certain classes and everything. And we'd been through some stuff just by virtue of what goes on in college. But, at one point she was just like, I consider you a great friend. And I was like, really? She's like, you don't see me as a friend? I was like, we know each other. We're like, I mean, I actually just flat out said no, actually, because at the time I'm editing it now in my mind because it sounds horrible to say, but I was like, no, because the definition of friendship for me is that relationship where there is that full truth and transparency, the friend that can call you an a-hole, but they're doing it out of love. They're doing it because they care about you. And so you get a little riled up, but they're only saying that because they want you to be better. They know you can be better. And so they're calling you out on it. Other people, they'll just, oh yeah, no, man, you do whatever makes you happy. When it comes down to it, it really, how good your friends are by how truthful you can be with each other, not to be hurtful, but just to that depth. And most of the people I know, it's very cordial, which is fine, but there's very little comfort in cordiality. So,
I mean, you guys can see in my Discord how truthful I am with specific people. Like, dude, that's not funny. That's fucking stupid. I couldn't be that way with most sensitive people. It's like, no, it's because we know each other and we are real with each other. And then when we game together, like the dialogue is way different than if we're with people who don't know us very well, because there's so much crap talking going on and it's just joking around. Like there's a lot of racist jokes because it's an incredibly diverse group. Like right. I think we have one of each person and it just ended up that way, So but I've been streaming for 5 years. So I think it makes sense that I'm going to pick up a few friends along the way. Right. And they've been with me for that long. I have my core 3 IRL friends, and then I made a handful of online friends. Yeah. If Glitch could do it, Glitch was actually thinking about flying up to Michigan and driving down to Florida with me next fall. Like Glitch is one of my people. I'm the offensive gay tranny. You're such a you contradict yourself. Glitch is funny. But yeah, so my friend Kat is getting married in November.
Oh, congratulations.
And she met so she, again, all Destiny people. And they came out with the Garden of Salvation raid. So this was right after Bungie left Activision Blizzard. And it was 3 years ago. So the Garden of Salvation was the big one that came out with that expansion. And she was being taught how to do the raid. And the guy who was, I think, helping teach it, his name is Kaz. And they clicked. And then they started flirting. And then they became a little online item. And the next thing you know, he's moving down to Florida and living with her. And then one day he calls me on Discord. He's like, hey, can I call you? I need to talk to you about something. And I'm thinking, oh, gosh, who did I offend now? Because that's usually what it is.
Hey, tranny.
I piss off Kat. Like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm going to propose to Kat. I was like, what? Like, I was so excited. And so we knew for about a couple weeks. And what he did is he took her into the same raid. Mm-hmm. And right before the boss fight, everyone took a break. And that's when he proposed to her. So it was the raid they met in. And he proposed to her while doing that raid. It was so cute. Yo, Black Box, what's up? Hey, Mouse. So they're getting married on November 11th. And what they're doing is they're renting out this. It's a gaming facility in Orlando. And it's like some kind of condo thing. And there's like several rooms and everything. And it's going to be like $250 to stay there for the week.
Whoa.
So, yeah. It's like, I
have a feeling, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's going to try to like provide food by like having people donate and family members grilling and stuff. And so I actually got my vacation approved today. I was kind of worried because the one day didn't, so I work in customer service, but I'm not actually like doing the customer service. I'm in a different program where they rotate me through different areas of the company. It's basically like, hey, we have you earmarked for management and we're going to cross train you in all these areas. So right now I'm providing support for new customer service reps and anyone who needs to use Click to Chat for getting through a situation. So now I'm on a crappy shift, which is which was really nice this week because the mornings have been useful.
Mm.
But they've been kind of overlooking the queues for me on my vacation days because I'm not on the phones or working email. So they don't really need me and they don't know where I'm going to be in November. So I got the entire week off. So I'm going to drive down. Let me see. It's only family for the wedding itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then the party is a 4-day long party at this resort. So that starts on Monday. I get to check in on Monday. So I'm going to drive down probably on Sunday. I'd like to go to Tennessee because I've never been there and I've wanted to go there forever. But I have this issue where I like to go where I'm familiar, especially when traveling alone. But I love Lexington, Kentucky. So I'm probably going to stop there. Like last time I went there was with a friend and we ended up there just on a whim because there was a thunderstorm and I had to pull over, like get off 75 because I couldn't see going like 10 miles an hour faster. So we drove into Lexington, saw an Irish pub and we were like, let's go there. And then we're like, this place is cool. Let's get a hotel. And then we went to so many different restaurants and I got like fried pickles at every restaurant and they were all different and it was amazing. But anyway, that was a major like squirrel on that conversation. But I'll probably end up in Lexington for a night and then head down to Florida for like early on the Monday and check in. And I've got friends and family in Tampa, so I'm going to try to hit them up, have lunch with them on one day or 2 days since it's 2 different groups of people, or lunch and dinner. I don't know. And then if Rick can make it down to Rumble, I'll head over there.
Yeah.
I'll stop into Rumble. Yeah. I'll be like, Rick, you got to be at Rumble because there's no way I'm going there without knowing someone there.
Right. Is Rumble's in Florida?
They're on the other side of Tampa Bay from where I'm going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not that far from there. So.
Oh, well.
Did you say ski soda in Kentucky? Lexington. Sadly, I won't be able to go due to the fact that I have the family Disney trip 2.0 the first week of December. If I was close with the family, I'd be in Florida. I would crash with them. Yeah, that sucks. Excuse me. I wish you could be there. That would be amazing. You're like, hey, just let me stay in Florida for 3 weeks before the family comes. But this whole thing is happening because of internet relationships. So, yeah.
You can't argue with experiential data. I mean, that's what I was going to say. It's like, well, once we start talking about it, it's going to kind of spoil the answer to the question because you have personal interactions. I've actually met in real life, probably five people that I've met like a sight unseen initially. And then we started, talking and everything and you meet them. And there's a little bit of a surrealness, even if you know what they look like, just because their body is actually now in front of you. And so you have to marry the persona that you've gotten to know, the person you've gotten to know with a complete stranger, technically, that is standing in front of you because you've never been in the same space together. And then those two merge and it takes like 10 minutes and you're good to go. And it's as simple as that. So I don't know that I don't know that I've formed a relationship as tight as the one that you've got that opens the door up that wide and you're going to weddings and everything. But that is proof positive. You can actually have them. It's a matter of trust and it's a matter of transparency. And
at the end of the day, people are people. And the problems that you see with personalities
that we wouldn't have had otherwise, because once you're out of school, the education system, once you're not circulating there, and unless you've got a job that allows you to travel and meet new people organically, that's it. You have no way to meet unless it's like, oh, go to a bar. Well, if I just want to find a friend, it's going to be a little awkward at a bar. Or if I'm not a bar hopper myself, I don't know that I'm going to meet somebody at a bar. So it's really it's only fair that you can actually make solid relationships online because it's really difficult to do it otherwise.
I'm more of a foodie and I like good booze. So I go to nicer places. And you know who's at nicer places?
Nicer people.
Married people. So I'm not meeting anybody when I go out. But at the same time, at least when I do go out, and this is kind of an issue, I'm safe. And I say it's an issue because I do tend to hide when I go out in public. I don't like to be seen. I'm an introvert, like hardcore introvert.
I hear you.
And while I like to go out and I do have to be around people periodically, because everyone has to be around people. The fact is, I don't like noise. Like I cannot go in a casino. It drives me crazy. But to go into a nice restaurant, belly up to the bar. I have conversation. The bartenders are always great to me because I'm polite and I tip well. So there you go. I'm always welcome back. And other people, when I do that, they do take an interest in me and they just strike up conversations. I think to see someone like me sitting at a bar by myself and just enjoying my food and my wine, like, I think their minds are blown away. And I've actually had people like tap me on the shoulder and be like, are you by yourself? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you just look like you're really just having a good time. I'm like, I am. Like, the food is amazing. I'm just relaxing. I've got something to read. Like, yes. I didn't have to cook dinner tonight. But it took me, it was really hard for me to get to that place. The first time I went to dinner by myself in my 20s, I was terrified.
Terrible, really?
I'm not kidding. Like, I used to be super quiet and shy. Oh my gosh. I really had to break out of some boxes. Holy crap. But then once I got a taste of it.
Literally.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, as an introvert, like, you have your, I guess, like, your strategy for going into a place, like, walk in, immediately scan the whole place. There's the bar with the bartender, beeline for it. Not even beeline, just go straight for it. Sit down where you can see everybody, and then you're safe.
It's a very simple plan. It was a very good simple plan.
Yeah, I was staking my seat.
Well, I think how you know, well, at least for me, I'm not sure how it is for you because I'm also an introvert, but I know that the relationships are real because they wear me out just like real relationships do. If I'm around people, the amount of time I can be around people is based on how many people there are, how much noise there is, and how much I can actually connect with one or two people. And if it's a lot of people, a lot of noise, I'm done in about a half hour, 45 minutes. But then I've noticed online too. And at first I was like, why am I exhausted? Because I start, you know, you have these long talks with people and you're going back and forth and they're sharing their life, you're sharing yours. And you get to a point where I'm like, I just feel like I walked out of a 9-hour conversation with a real human being there. And I'm exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, of course I need to recharge. I'm an introvert. I'm not meant to be doing this, even though the online makes it seem like it's just, there's a barrier there. So I don't know, is that your same experience, or do you have a little more energy with online interaction?
If I'm having a good time and it's balanced, I can go for a very long time. Yeah, I've always been able to party all night, be social that way. It's when there is a lot of noise, just the cling clang, kind of like the casino, or if I'm gaming with a bunch of people who are just like constantly talking and yelling at each other, it will cause me to go into my cave. That's when I start muting my Discord and just talking to my chat, because it's like, oh my gosh, my head hurts.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the extroverts don't understand that. Like, you feel like there's smoke coming out of your ears at that point. But if I get the right balance of people, like my traditional Siege team, like me, Glitch, Psycho, J Real, and then Penguin, it's a group of people that banters really well. Like, everyone's pretty good at bouncing off of each other. That doesn't wear me out. It doesn't. And then for the most part, like, we get each other's senses of humor, although J Real, I don't know what the hell he's saying half the time. His jokes are so bad. That's right. You can tell him I said that, chat. I told him that in Discord this morning. I'm like, that was a terrible joke, bro.
Truth. That's good. Truth is good.
I know, right? I only do it because I care. That's right. But yeah, it's really situational. It's not that talking itself exhausts me. Now, IRL, like going to my parents' house for the weekend, exhausts the hell out of me, because there's always a TV on. People are always moving around. There's lights on all the time. The dog is really the only one I can put up with because I love dogs. But man, it's always noisy. And like this last week, I had a lot of quiet. I just turned stuff off and read, or went and sat outside and watched the birds and the squirrels. Because seriously, like, it's a freaking zoo out there, and it's hilarious, some of the stuff I see. Like, wow. Yeah. Birds and squirrels chasing each other. Excuse me, my sinuses are draining, so I'm like coughing. It's terrible. Di is my online gamer mom, and Kat is my online gamer aunt. You know you're yelling that, right, Glitch? Just have Psycho FaceTime me during. We will probably. I might actually do a locals thing from the wedding because it's kind of a big deal. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Black Box says a coworker just got married and her husband gamer friends came to the wedding, and that was the first time any of them met each other. Well, if Psycho's in Florida, Psycho and I know each other. Like, we've all met here in Detroit. Actually, Psycho and Jay Real went out with me for my birthday. We went out and got burgers. So we're talking about like the next place we're gonna go to. Let me see. Meetup.com groups. Oh my gosh. Does Meetup still exist? I feel like Meetup was kind of, I don't know. A lot of people try to meet online, but they kind of suck at meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like far too many people don't really have stories to tell or fun. I don't know. There's a lot of shallow personalities out there.
Yeah.
And I think as streamers, most of us, because we have to train ourselves to talk constantly.
Even when we're talking to ourselves.
Everything. Oh, I should talk to you about this since you do video editing. One of the things I really studied streaming when I first got into it. Mm-hmm. And when I started getting into YouTube, one of the things that was mentioned was like learning how to tell that story. So I don't script any of my videos. Like if I do a teaching video, it's heavily edited, but I don't script it. And it's too much work. Also, I'm not going to do a video teaching someone how to do something I don't already have a good command of. So like with Destiny stuff, I don't need to script it. I just talk. And then I edit out the pauses because I'm an INTJ. But doing the video editing helped me as a streamer because now I approach everything as a story. So when I came to Rumble and had to actually have a theme for my streams, because these are essentially like live recorded videos, right? It was something that YouTube trained me to do. So,
yeah, no, it is the difference between randomly just talking about whatever and actually having a narrative, as loosely structured as it may be, something to tether people's attention to, and like you're building towards something is a really big deal. I have not quite figured that I still ramble. I actually had videos where I just literally talked for an hour and a half because I just had a lot I had to get off my chest and nobody was listening, and I didn't need anybody to listen. I just needed the camera to listen and to hear. And it was therapeutic for a little while, and it helped me get over some speech. You don't when you speak, muscles atrophy just like they do in real life. And I think that the communication ability does atrophy. And I lost the ability to talk. I had the ums were all over the place, the stammers, the dramatic pauses. And so, you just got to, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do anyway.
Now I just talk, and it's like, sometimes I hear myself going on, and it's like, you need to shut up. Like in real life, I go into streamer mode. Glitch says, in all transparent honesty, my mom has even said it. I've been more open and social ever since I met you, Psycho, Penguin, J-Real, and Raz. Yeah. It's because we love you for who you are, and you know that. It's so much easier to open up when people actually appreciate you when you're being yourself. And that's really hard to find. And the other thing, I think being online, you meet so many people that you're going to find somebody to jive with. But like in real life, it's way harder. Even before the internet, it was way harder. You didn't meet that many people in real life, not like as a streamer or in an online community. But yeah. Man, if I don't connect with someone, it's like, okay, see you, have fun. And there's always more people like coming in and out of as a streamer, it's easier to meet people too, because they're coming in and out of my community.
Yeah.
And if they fit and they stay and it's fun. And if they don't, it's like, okay, they'll go find a community where they do fit. And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, to your point earlier about like meetups, and I mean, even online dating, the problem with them is your whole purpose in interacting with that person is the relationship, and it can be very difficult to gain traction with that. Whereas if you're meeting because you're playing a game, if you have shared common ground, if you're there for a purpose, if there's something to kind of unite you beyond that, the relationship forms organically.
No pressure. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So it is good for streams and everything.
That's why I don't want to go to the Rumble headquarters by myself, Condor. There's no video game. Pre-COVID, I used to talk to people on public transportation. Wow. Speaking of Condor. I'll admit though, like I'm that person these days.
Yeah.
I just talk with people.
I don't know.
You know how many life stories I've heard? How many men like confided in me about their marriages? So I'd like give like really like bad marriage counseling. Like, well, have you told your wife that? No. And I'm like, you should probably let her know how you feel. Might actually help fix your marriage.
Oh,
People
wow.
stop communicating when they get married. Like, stop that. Talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes back to, I mean, because I think there's just been a lot of, and it's no shade on anybody, but I think a lot of the requisites for entering into a marriage, that kind of relationship, it's like, hey, I I'm digging you, you're digging me. You want kids, I want kids. Let's do it. And I mean, obviously, there's a little bit more than that. But even if you're talking like similar religions, you can have the same religion, and
you would hope there's more to it. I don't think that's the case these days. But okay.
Well, no. What I mean is, I think I'm saying there should be like day-to-day compatibility needs to be a consideration. You need to know, where do you want the thermostat set at? And that's not going to be a deal breaker probably, but it's those little things. So people get married and the only thing they have in common is, attraction and, again, maybe kids or family or where they want to live. And once you go below that, there's nothing to bond you together. There's not enough common interest because you didn't really go that deep, or you didn't even think, because they're like true love will see past all that. Well, it can, but it's a pain in the butt and it makes things a lot harder.
True love doesn't see past it. It helps you work through it, but you got to put the effort into it.
Right.
That's what people don't get. And they also don't understand that conflict resolution is really what's going to get you through a marriage. And most people are too proud to figure that out. It's funny. So I watch a lot of Dr. Barry because he's like the carnivore diet doctor. And there's a couple of videos about him and his wife and their marriage. This is his third marriage for him. And it was really interesting hearing him talk about his previous marriages. And he was like, I was an asshole. Like, I look back on who I was a terrible person. And at the beginning of this marriage, they had some spats, but then they both realized, like, what are we doing? Like, we're not here to compete with each other. It's not about winning a fight. And this is what I always say to people. You need to communicate to understand instead of trying to tell the other person what they mean by what they're saying. Like, first of all, don't do that. Try to figure out what that person is saying. And it's like me and Llama. So Llama's he's probably my closest Rumble friend, which is really funny. Me and Llama. And we've had misunderstandings where we were like, just kind of like butting heads, trying to understand, but we kept doing it and working at it until we understood, and we did it respectfully. Yeah. And we realized we weren't talking about the same thing. And I have a lot of experience with this because I'll ask a ton of questions, and usually misunderstandings are because y'all aren't talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once you realize that, you can clarify and both be heard, feel heard, and then you're happy. And usually there's not even a disagreement. You're just not talking about the same thing. And then you have some people who just want to disagree for the sake of disagreeing, and they can go to hell. Like, I won't even give those people my time.
Yeah.
Glitches talking with y'all over Discord has honestly helped with the public speaking part of my social anxiety. Yo, UB Legend. Hi. Well, he says I'm relatable in that situation too. Black Box. Okay, wait. Pre-COVID, I used to talk to people on public transportation. Okay, Black Box says, nah, Condor, that's weird. You never talk to people on the bus. Talking online and talking with people in front of you are very different. Wow. It's hard for me to go back home. I'm used to living by myself. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've actually talked with my priest a couple times this week because I was struggling with the loneliness part of it, but the conflict is I like being alone. I'm working through some things. We got some issues here. Do you talk better holding a game controller? Oh, I think people talk better when they're doing an activity that their focus is on, because the conversation is not the center of it. And if you run out of things to talk about, there's going to end up being call outs, and then someone will just think of something after a while. And here's the thing about that. Most people are really uncomfortable with sitting in silence. I'm fine with it. I'll do my own thing. I've gotten used to it. But a lot of people, like if you have just 10 seconds of silence, they got to fill it.
Yeah.
And they can't. They can't. They don't know how to talk with people because of it.
Mm.
Not that long ago, I rewatched your Leviathan teaching grade I was in, and personally, I think I've come a long way. I used to be so freaking quiet and only spoke when spoken to. Now I yell, yeah, you are very lively. I love that raid video. It's one of my favorite videos. Check it out, folks. It's Leviathan on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun conversation. Yeah, I was teaching the Leviathan raid in Destiny.
Oh, wait, so it's called, it's Dibear on, but it's on.
If I go to YouTube, let me pull up YouTube. Let's do Dibear Leviathan. Yeah, it's the first search result.
Wow.
Leviathan raid guide, including challenges.
Sweet.
All the memories. I also have my Crown of Sorrow raid on there from when we did Flawless. Dude, I have 876 subscribers there. Part of me wants to like start publishing videos again and get monetized just to say I can.
It really, double posting is so, it's negligible in terms of the time. If you just want to have a presence there, I
don't do videos right now though.
Oh, you can put streams up there.
Live streams don't do so well for me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, with the channel being mostly Destiny content, I'd have to keep doing Destiny content. And it's exhausting because everything just expires really fast with their garbage format of a game right now. But if they kept things in the game, it would actually like mean something. Because I could do a teaching raid and it would still be good 2 years later. Right. No, they don't want to do that. Damn, Connor, you found that fast.
Nice.
So do you have any friendships online, really, or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a gentleman. He's a streamer on Rumble. That's not how we met. We actually met in a Discord based off of like a show, an internet show, and we got into Discord there, and it just somehow we just started talking. It was like the slimmest of common ground, and it kind of grew. And actually, he just visited me. He's down in South Carolina. He actually just drove up. Actually gave me one of the monitors I'm using here, and we just hung out. And then he went back. But we had just found out we have a lot in common. It's just kind of just kind of happened naturally. That's probably. And he's also on here. So Silver G Suit. He's on, like I said, exclusively on Rumble. He doesn't want to support YouTube. He's big on Rumble.
I've seen that name. Yeah.
And he did a lot of game streaming and everything. And he's a great dude. And I think you even mentioned it when you were talking about like Llama, or you weren't specifically addressing him, but I think you alluded to it where you were saying we're all very, very different in many, many ways, but there's enough common ground and there's enough willing to go, this is not what my entire world revolves around. So if you don't agree with it, it's okay. I'll get over it. And we can talk about other things because this is not the central of my identity. And you made that illusion. It's the same thing with him. We couldn't be more different in so many ways, but
look at my group on Rumble. Oh my gosh. Like I'm a devout Catholic, Llama's a pagan, and then Silver's wife does porn for a living. Like
no kidding.
Yes. It's such a weird group of people. And then me and Ryan are the only ones Matsu Daira bond because we're both, on the carnivore diet.
But it shows it can be done. It really, the barriers are artificial. There is not a requisite for having the common ground because it doesn't have to come up. It doesn't have to be a thing. I can know this person doesn't agree with me on this. And if I bring it up, they probably won't say anything about it because there's no point in bickering about it, but there's so much other ground that I'm realizing especially the past 5 years, I kind of had a general idea of this kind of person. And then you realize, well, there's more important things to bond over or to agree on than a lot of the things I don't get along with people who like Star Wars prequels. I mean, we just can't
That's a red flag.
That is no. But pretty much anybody else is fine. So I don't know.
They are pretty bad.
Oh, I have a test where I just started doing this recently where I try to get a nice solid buzz. I don't like getting drunk, but I like to get a buzz, and I'll try to watch movies that I want to enjoy, wish I could enjoy, but just never did. The prequels and the Hobbit trilogy, can't do it. Even with a buzz, I'm just like, oh gosh, you got to be kidding me.
I've not seen the Hobbit trilogy.
You're not missing. Just remember Peter Jackson as he was as an amazing director for, I mean, he was still fine. He got screwed in the Hobbit movie, so it's not his fault, but they're horrible. They're abominable.
Best Star Wars movies are the Ewok Adventures.
I think that's baiting. I don't think that's just not a thing.
Well, I mean, his name is You Wrong. That's great, dude.
Oh man,
I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
He had me with that comment. Holy crap, dude. Well, I think when you look at us, though, like with the folks who I usually do a lot of podcasting with, it's not about our beliefs. We all genuinely believe in like the same core things, like, basic goodness. None of us are doing weird things to kids. Like, I think all of us, that's a hell to the no. Like, there's no weird, like, compromise of values by spending time with each other. And we all just have a good time joking around. And the interesting thing, like, Llama could cross the line because he has a very in-your-face sense of humor, but he also is very perceptive when it comes to boundaries. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, although he'll totally mess with you if you're a jerk. So, and it's like, I'm used to hanging out with guys like that. It's nice because I have a hard time respecting a guy who's a beta and is afraid to like squash a mosquito because mosquito rights matter, something like that. And I think I like strong personalities probably because I am a strong personality. And those are the people who can put up with me. But we also tend to laugh more and we're funny. So of course we're going to be drawn to each other. And if we actually had an issue with someone having a different belief, then oh my gosh, none of us would have friends. Holy crap.
Yep.
But we just bond over our, your basic humanity.
And once I think that's the important thing. Once you realize, like you said with Llama, even if he does, cross the line or something like that, that his intention is not that. There's no animus behind it. It would be a mistake. And before everything got hypersensitive, that's the way it was with a lot of stuff. You give somebody a sideways look and they'll be like, what? And it's like, what are you saying this? And it's like, no, why would I say that? It's just dumb. And you're like, okay. But or even if it was, it's like, it's not, there's online discourse. You can tell there are people who don't understand the idea, get an idea in your head of what you want to communicate. What are you trying to do in this communication? Are you trying to just insult them and make them angry? Are you trying to troll them? Are you trying to reach them? Are you trying to actually say something that might change their mind? Are you trying to mend a fence? Or are you just saying something to, for a joke? Unless you know what you're going in for, you can get a reaction that you weren't expecting, but you're like, what do you think? You went in guns blazing. You weren't trying to actually connect with this person. And I think once you get to know somebody,
I see a lot of that. Yeah. There's a lot of people who do that to me on Rumble. They target me.
Really?
They have this, they just have this idea of me and they don't even know me. And suddenly I know people are talking shit about me. And I'm like, who is this guy? He thinks I'm a bitch and we've never talked. Like, okay, whatever, dude, fuck off. People who stare at other people waiting to be noticed piss me off. I will call you out in a second. Wait, what, killer? What if I just like staring at people, killer? Then people are going to think you're a killer because you're just staring at them and it's creepy.
Well, if it's the wide-eyed, no blinking, then yeah, that
then they're going to be like, are you from Wisconsin? Because that's where all the serial killers are from. It's true. Yeah, let's come back and do a podcast when the brain's not focusing. This is great stuff. Yeah. Don't go to Llama telling him I'm talking shit about him. I'm just using him as an example because he doesn't hurt me. That's the thing. He has a very in-your-face sense of humor, but he is incredibly sensitive to boundaries, and he's not going to be an asshole to people he cares about. And I think a lot of people want to hate on him because of his bold personality. But honestly, he's a really good example of how you can be if you have that strong personality. Boundaries is something a lot of people don't get. And I've encountered a few people here who, when you draw, and I've drawn a line with probably 2 people, and they just kept overstepping the boundaries. And then I dismissed them completely. One guy I had to ban last week. He was creepy, but Yeah. I mean, if someone draws that line and tells you to stop, you should probably stop.
Yeah.
Stalking gets a pass. We are all technically stalkers. We're sitting in dark rooms staring at people as they stream with no contact, really. I mean, it's like the new watching TV. We're entertainers. It's not stalking. I don't fear you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fine line. There's also Yulama, at least the way I started interacting with him, he can shift gears. If you want to think about it as reading a room, it's a very small room with just essentially me and him in it. But it's when he first started talking, it was I think he realized kind of my personality and what I was doing. And so the interaction we had on my channel was very different than when I went to his channel. And it wasn't a duplicitous thing. It was just in Rome. It's like, okay, I can talk to this guy this way, but then when I'm in my house, I talk this way. And then you can adapt there. And I think that's part of it too. Understanding communication styles, what people resonate with, and what things are going to create unnecessary barriers. If I come across the stream, there's a guy who streams on YouTube. Doesn't use profanity, will not go there. If I'm going to go on there and interact with a guy, I just naturally will avoid doing that just because, and it's not to cater to or pander. It's one less hiccup, one less thing that could cause a hiccup in communication.
It's just the proper thing to do. Yeah. When you're in someone else's house, respect their rules. And people have a hard time with that these days. Learn how to freaking respect people.
Yeah. Well, because it gets confused. I mean, one of my best friends is actually my best friend of 25 years. He used to be the kind of guy that would say, like, I'm just going to speak my mind. I have no problem speaking my mind. I'm going to speak my mind and tell you like it is. And now I don't know how we would phrase it, but there's a difference between speaking in truth and beating somebody over the head with your truth.
Yes.
There's this whole, like, I need to be true to myself. And the only way I can be true to myself is if I am in your face with it and severely bludgeoning you with it. And it's like, no, there's definitely a lot of stages between, speaking it in love or speaking it just in truth and in being just outrageous with it and not even checking yourself. Am I presenting this in a way that can be received properly? Or am I doing this in a way that's going to naturally create, heckles to go up? And it goes back again. Why are you sharing this information and why are you sharing it in this particular way?
Yeah.
I
mean, if anyone who knows me knows that if they ask me what I believe, I'm going to tell them exactly what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be deadly honest. And that's why my friends are my friends, because they like the honesty.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm a devout Catholic and I hang out with the gay tranny. Mm-hmm. My friend Jez is gay from PA, like all people from PA. Don't tell Llama I said that.
Except the Amish.
I have the pagan friend. Psycho Bark is figuring out his place in the world. I don't chastise them. I don't demean them for being different. I love my friends. But I'm going to be real when they ask me. But they also know that when they come to me for something, I'm going to be there out of love. And it's just what you said. It's speaking out of truth. And there's a huge, honestly, to speak your mind, I think to be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole, to be that shock jock, that's not speaking your mind. You're going out of your way to be a jerk. There's a difference. To speak your mind, exactly what you said. It's to speak what you believe.
Yeah.
And if you're confident in what you believe, you can do that without being a jerk.
Right. And there's also there is a difference. There was a conversation that I was, what was up?
Glitch. She's like, I love you, die. I swear I'm not drunk. I love you. I do that when I get drunk. I'll be like, I love you guys.
Oh.
Okay, what were you saying before you thought I said something?
Shoot, something about.
Oh, you got cut off by me not cutting you off.
Right. Well, I heard a laugh and I thought, well, unless my pause was funny, somebody had said something. And I wanted to give air for that to breathe. But the understanding that it doesn't have to be volunteered. I may have an opinion. If I have a bunch of friends that are talking about a movie that they all really like and I don't like that movie, I don't need to, in order to be true to myself, I don't need to stand and say, I just want to let you guys know that was wrong. I didn't like that. And this way, you don't have to volunteer. If somebody says, like you pointed out, if somebody asks you what you believe, you'll tell them, but that doesn't mean you have to go around saying, by the way, in case anybody wants to know, this is what I believe, because people haven't invited the door. Typically, if they ask you a question, that means that they want to know what you have to say versus I'm going to tell you what I have to say, especially if it's going to be, if you know it's going to be counter to what they're saying. But for the longest time, I mean, I'm a Christian. I was raised, as a Christian, up through however long. And, you were taught you need to be bold about your faith. Well, there's a very tactful way and a smart way to be bold about your faith. And it isn't going around beating people over the head with it. It should manifest itself in curiosity. If somebody sees something you're doing or a way you live your life and they ask you, it opens the door. Or if they're just curious, but it doesn't mean that in order to walk that faith out or to be preaching, always be preaching when necessary, use words, then you don't need to be telling everybody all the time. And it's just,
you got to live your faith.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, you as a Christian, you are called to share it. But there's this really awesome priest named Father John Ricardo who has this ministry for 5 years that he got a sabbatical to go like across the country and present this ministry. And it's really amazing. It's called The Rescue Project. And it's like an 8-hour-long video series. There's like 8 segments to it. I've watched it twice now. It's just incredible. And one of the things he says that's just amazing is, it's not my job to convince someone to believe in God. I just share the gospel. That's it.
Yep.
And it's true. You can't force anyone to believe in God. And we all struggle with our own belief to different degrees. Yep. Like lately, like I believe in God 100%. And I have experiences in my life that are just crazy. But at the same time, I'm struggling through something right now with that. And it's like, I want more. And I feel like there's a void. And that is something that I'm working with. And it just, of course, I think new Christians, people who are new to their belief are really at the best place, feelings wise, because they're in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh, they were just blessed with belief in God suddenly. And they have like this kindergarten level faith where they just want to leave everything behind and just love God. And it's like, okay, well, wait until you have to actually live your faith. Then it gets hard. Yep. But it's kind of like a real relationship, isn't it? Yeah. Check that out. At some point, you want something deeper and you want a real relationship with him. And that's I think, where a lot of people waver.
Yeah.
And then some people, boom, like, bam, they just have it. And it's like, how does that guy have that faith? Like,
yeah.
Like, he became a priest like immediately once he realized he believed in God. How? I've been struggling through this for 46 years of my life. Like, give me that faith.
But I think I kind of envied people that made the transition, because you have more of a contrast. If you're raised in it, it feels very natural and organic, and you kind of are going at it at a slower pace or working through it at a slower pace. Whereas if it just hits you, it's like, this was my life before, this is my life after. It's such a dramatic shift that I think it becomes more real, and you want to leave everything behind. It's like, oh, I've got a whole new, the paradigm has shifted completely, and I want to go ahead on. Whereas here, the paradigm shifts or the relationship grows, and it's a little more, it feels more subtle, at least for me. And I've questioned it many times, but one thing that I came to realize, I don't know why it took so long, the Bible's not full of happy stories. The Bible's not full of goody things. The relationship that is forged with God is done through refining fire and through tribulation and through difficulty. We don't grow without adversity. And that the Bible is nothing but that. There is not a really good happy story. And if there is, the very next verse is going to be something else. The whole, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's great. But right before that was, my God, why have you forsaken me? Like, there is a huge swing in that relationship. And a lot of people, they go, if it's not, God is a God of love, and if I'm in this relationship, it should be peachy keen and my life should be better by my own standards. And it's like, no. Read the Bible and you'll find out, when the closer you get, not the harder life gets, but the more you're going to be refined and the deeper you need to go with him, which is more of a proactive thing. And he's like, how much are you willing to give up? How much when you say you want to follow me, how much do you really mean that? And I think that's where we see when a lot of people jump, it's like they're all in. They just go from 0 to 100. And I'm like, well, I've been hanging out at 60%, and I don't know if I want to go to 70%. And it's just how much surrendering are you going to do?
Well, I've also discovered for myself that I never forced myself to live the way I do. It just happened once I made the choice. Like, I was born and raised Catholic, and like most Catholics, I became an adult and stopped going to church because my mom couldn't force me anymore. And I've had some interesting, very strong calls in my life, but I didn't return faithfully until last Easter. And I had felt a really strong draw, and battled with some darkness. Glitch, I should talk to you about some of that stuff later. And man, I think I went through that for like 8 months before I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna communal penance service, let's go. And then I talked to my priest, and that's the first time I ever met him. And then I've been going to church ever since, and I love it. But let me see. So that was 2021. And I started getting drawn back by watching like Father Mike Schmitz, who has a very famous Bible in a Year podcast. One of the most famous podcasts in the country, in the world, honestly. Yeah, dude, it's so good. I'm slowly getting through it. He does a great job because he'll like read the passage for that day, and then he'll talk about like the context and what it actually means, which with the Old Testament is very good. Because it's like, what the hell does any of this mean? Because some of the Old Testament, like, it means jack to a modern American.
Oh yeah.
But him, along with some other folks, some other priests who I watch on YouTube, really started working on me. And the reason why I gravitated to Catholic YouTube is because with all the COVID stuff, the lockdowns, and the commie bastards out there, I hate communists. Like, I really fear losing freedom in this country.
Yeah.
I got scared because I started seeing the reality of it. And so I went to the only place for answers that I knew could give me answers, and that was Catholic Church. And they started drawing me back. And then it got to the point where I was no longer afraid. The weight has been lifted. And then that's when I just naturally started living the way I should be living as a Christian. So I would argue that if you're trying to become a Christian by adhering to the rules first, you're doing it wrong. Because no one can live a good Christian life without God. You need to focus on hearing God first. And then once that happens, your life will change.
Yeah.
The hard part is when you get to a point where God starts to ask you to deal with whatever you're carrying in your heart. And we're all suffering. We're all carrying. I obviously have walls. I have big ass concrete walls in my heart. And I've never been like physically traumatized or anything, but I carry with me pain from my life. And it's like, that's what I'm working on right now. I was a mess last week. So, and you're going to come to a point in your life, it happens to everyone, where you're going to have to deal with that pain.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is discovering what is causing that pain. And so fortunately, I do have a church to run to. I do have a priest who actually understands me when I talk to him. He's like the only person I know who I don't have to repeat myself with. And when I share an idea, he actually understands what I'm saying. Most people are just like, Di, what the hell are you talking about? Or you're thinking too hard. Like, what?
That ain't a thing. Well, okay.
Shut up. Like, I want more people around me who do think. And I think that's one thing I like about the gamers over the people I've met in real life is I've actually been exposed to people in gaming who actually are capable of thinking on a more complex level and more deeply about different things. And even if they don't believe what I believe, they've been able to share perspectives. Like my friend Kat, she's actually a couple years older than me. So there's another gamer girl who's older than I am. But she's able to help me put things in perspective sometimes when I need it. So Glitch noted, I'll leave the tofu on the porch. She made an anti-soy boy comment. Modern culture is just narcissistic to the point it's a cult. Even good actions are only done for them to feel good. And I think there is a lot of narcissism in our culture, but I don't look at general selfishness as narcissism. I actually dealt with clinical narcissists. Like these people checked the boxes when I was on Twitch, and I became really sensitive to those flags once I had those experiences. And I learned about the traits when I was basically severing my relationships with those people, but I didn't have them pegged as narcissists because there's actually a follow-through period if you end it with a narcissist. And then months later, I found out that these people were checking the follow through boxes. I was like, holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah. Yup. It was insane. I was surrounded.
Jeez.
And so anyone who love bombs me, I was getting love bombed by several people. And then I also had a lot of the victim card people. So love bombers and victim cards, I won't friend. If you're constantly talking about your problems, like, woe is me, my fibromyalgia today, my whole body, I'm just, every day is a no, stop. Just stop. Yeah. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. You're just annoying me, and you're not the only one in pain every day. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. There's a lot of people out there suffering physically who don't share those ills because it's not their identity. You can suffer and not use your suffering to try to get attention all the time.
Well, and it's key when you said identity, because it's become, so you have genuine narcissism, and then you have, I call it artificial or kind of taught narcissism, which is you are being told this is what makes you different or special, or this is why people are going to treat you differently. And so therefore it becomes, I need to see myself.
Yeah.
And it is all about me. That's what people are taught. It's all about you. It's your world. It's your truth. There's no selflessness. There's not even a nod to like look to other people or see what other people need or being there for other people. It's all about you and screw everybody else. I mean, which is crazy because I was being taught as a kid, like it's not about looking out for number one. You know, I had a little record, you know, Aunt Sylvania, which was essentially the prodigal son, but with ants. And, you know, it was all the main character is, you know, I want to go out and be important, and they put ant puns everywhere. But it was just, you learn very quickly, like, that's not the way you live. You don't forsake your friends. You don't live that way. But we have this identity, which is ironic because most of the stuff that people put their identity in is either the inverse of actually who they are, or it is it's a counterfeit anyway. So they're not even putting it in their true identity. They're putting it in a counterfeit, and that their entire worldview revolves around that. And that is I think a low level artificial narcissism that can be cured if you just go, look, that's not important. It doesn't matter this part about you. That is irrelevant for 95% of the people you're going to talk to. You don't need to see yourself or that part of you to see it, to be it. That was the worst phrase I think I've ever heard in my life. It is getting spread around. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You just do it. But whatever.
I think it's very normal for people in their teens and 20s. Most people have no idea who they are in their 20s. Yeah. I didn't know who I was till my early 30s. Because I had moved somewhere that helped me discover what I was made of. I had become a mountain biker by identity, but my adventures really, I was taught exactly what I was made of that allowed me to go out and do what I did and love what I love. And when I finally walked away from that community, I took all of that with me because that had helped me unearth who I really was. I am tough. I am adventurous, but at the same time, I need to slow down and I need to enjoy life. And they did teach me how to actually stop and just enjoy life. And I have a natural inclination to just go. And that's what I've been doing these last few months and not taking time. Noob says, hi, Bear. And then he's like, Schwaaard. He's happy to see you. He also says, God is good. Don't follow the people. Thank you, Noobs. Appreciate you, man.
I just remember Noobs because he whooped me in the game night we had. He took my first prize away from me. But I love you anyway, even though you cut me deep.
He's right, though. He just said Schwaaard is going to be hit on by Leafy soon. So sexy, lol. The Levy thing was hilarious. The church is flawed because it's a human institution. Faith is not. Yes, the church will be flawed always, but it will prevail. And the only church that won't be flawed is the one that doesn't contain humans, and then there's no point. Hey, Mr. Cage, how are you today? And we have a Clark Kent. Dude, I've read your comment like 10 times and I haven't said hi. I'm sorry, Clark. Being a light on city on a hill. Or being a light a city on a hill. That kind of reminds me of St. Patrick. He defied the king and was like, I'm lighting this huge ass fire on this mountain. I should send you the homily my priest did on St. Patty's Day. I go to St. Patrick's, and so like our feast day, of course, is St. Patty's Day.
Oh, nice.
We got to eat meat on Friday because it was Lent, and since he's our patron saint, we're required to party and have fun on his feast day.
What a burden.
So, yo, Kat, we were talking about you. Also, my vacation got approved, so I'll be there. You just got out of the hospital? Dude, what happened? I haven't been to a hospital in years. I hate hospitals.
Nope. Especially after the past years. No.
You wrong. Isn't Schwaaard a bit old for Leafy? I'm older than Schwaaard. Leafy hit on me.
I'm not terribly familiar with Leafy. I think Llama told me a little bit. Is it a meme or is it a person or is it a?
He's a streamer. I didn't know him until he called me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he is on Rumble because I think he's been banned everywhere else, and he will just go raid random streamers, and they'll be like, "Call Leafy," and he decided to. He got so frustrated because like Llama was in chat with me. We were doing our Independence Day thing or the day before, getting drunk, and we were getting drunk. It was Monday, and. So all of a sudden, my chat is just flooded with people saying, "Call Leafy," and I was like, "What? Call Leafy? What's this?" And Llama's like, "He's a pedophile." He went to Leafy's. I guess Leafy like called a girl who was like 16 one time when he was like 24 or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I would say that's the line. It's a line, but like 16 is age of consent in a lot of states, and. Did he know her? I don't know the story. I don't know if he actually had a relationship with her. I don't know, but I'm not going to hate on him for that, but I do know why people hate him. But he called me and we had a Discord call.
Oh.
And he inappropriately asked me out by offering me things.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And also describing how awesome his car was. I'm like, I don't care about your car and I'm not interested in sex. So it ended up being pretty funny. It went out on Twitter. People were in my chat all night just dying laughing because we ended up going back and watching his stream when the whole thing happened. And it was so funny, dude. It was so funny. So I would say anyone who's trying to be like Leafy and like use other streamers to get content, at least be funny.
It's important. So his whole shtick is it's not that he does a show or something and then he raids, because I think a raid is when you you turn your audience over to another.
Typically, yeah. But on Rumble, it's more like everyone goes and shows up and says hi, and then they move on to the next person. It's more like a, I guess you could say a cattle call kind of thing.
Okay.
Condor Matthew 5:14, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. That's the translation for whatever someone else wrote. Schwaaard only likes teenagers since he preys on his child audience. Schwaaard, or are you saying Leafy only likes teenagers? There we go. Yeah, it's not Schwaaard.
You would have to be sneezing pretty heavy to type that. That's exactly how it happens. How do you
the credit card thing? Yeah.
Like, that's you, Leafy. Schwaaard. Oh, geez. Oh, goodness gracious. I was wondering. I was like, I don't remember making a statement that presented me in such a fashion, but
Oh, you wrong says Leafy has done worse than that. Okay. I only know what people tell me. Banned everywhere sounds like Bears type, 100%. So Leafy is a hooker.
Wait, what?
She's basically just calling him a whore. Have not heard about Leafy in years. Yeah, he's on Rumble having fun, dude.
Now, just out of curiosity, do you remember what kind of car it was exactly? I'm just.
I think it was a Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
Like at least have a Corvette or like the CTS 5.
I mean, it's a Porsche Carrera. I would take that, but
have something good that you can actually like take to a track and screw Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know what Mercedes says to me? Lots of auto repairs. Yes.
I crap you not. I'm not totally serious, but I kind of am. There was a gal that I kind of was somewhat thinking I was interested in, and I found out she's, and I know I might cheesed some people off, but she drove, she had a Ford. And this is, at least 10 years ago. And I was like, all I see is car repairs like that. And she bought it new. And it was like, why would you buy that? It's going to be crap in about 80,000 miles. So I'm kind of joking, but
it's true. No, they're fucked over rebuilt Dodges.
Yeah. Yes.
Fix or repair daily.
Found on road dead.
Yes.
But that's to say that's all.
I get a GM discount. If I had the money, I could get a mean discount on a Corvette or a Caddy. But like, the quality is terrible on GM cars. I finally bought a Mazda 3. I'm on my second Mazda 3 actually. I needed to get a bigger engine because the Ford started beating me at lights. And I was like, I need the 2.5 liter. Which isn't big, but man, it's a nice little car.
Yeah.
And then I beat caddies at lights because I have more balls. So
more what?
I have more balls. I'll race at lights. Generally, Cadillac drivers are not racers. Like you can get around them. The Ford drivers will try to race you though, and then they go really slow when they get in front. So that's why I had to upgrade the engine. Yeah. So, but I remember when I went in on my birthday to buy this car. I had been looking at this car for 2 years because I sat in it at the auto show and I was like, and I had another Mazda and I was like, they have knobs. Like I can control everything with knobs. They added knobs back into the car because I hate touchscreens.
Oh, okay.
And man, my car is perfect. It's so perfect. So I didn't want to upgrade though because I didn't want another car payment, and I tried to drive my cars for 10 years and I had only had the other one for like 4 or 5, and then I don't know, I was doing my last course. I had to go up north to school to do my Hell Week for my MBA, and then like my car arrived and I went and got it. But before that I went into the dealership on my birthday, ordered the car, got everything I wanted on it. Yeah, I didn't screw around. And I just paid it off last year. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations. Wow.
Getting rid of a car payment.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Wait, so I missed it. What was the impetus? Because you said I wasn't going to, you gave all the reasons why you weren't going to, then what was the reason why you did?
Fords were beating me at lights.
That was more factly like that was legitimately like what 4, 5? What was the magic
I don't
number?
like it when they beat me at lights. I wanted the bigger engine and I wanted the safety features because people in Detroit like to sit in your blind spot. And then I like the backup cam, everything, but mostly the engine. I wanted a bigger engine.
And the knobs. Yeah. I mean, if you had to take
the knobs were why I fell in love with it. But I have sport mode. So even though it's just, it's a 4-cylinder engine, the fact is that transmission, holy shit, dude. Do you know how much gas I burn when I actually yeah.
Quarter of a tank.
It's like I'm driving a V8 again. It burns through gas when it needs to. And unfortunately I have fun with my car, so I do burn through gas a little bit faster than I should. But
you're killing, how dare you?
Oh my gosh. It likes to go fast though.
It's meant to be, yeah.
And then it's designed to stick to the freaking road when you go faster. It actually feels better at 90 than it does at 55. It just handles better. Because it's just it's like an Indy car, except it's not. And it's tuned tightly so you can feel the road. Like it's perfect. Oh my gosh.
That sounds fantastic.
My friend actually recommended the Mazda to me because I was trying to figure out what car I wanted to try next. Because the Nissan, I had a Nissan Pathfinder that was great. I used to drive this thing through 2 feet of snow. I'm not even kidding. And things started going wrong on that Pathfinder that I didn't even know existed.
That's always fun.
And it was so expensive and parts were hard to get. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, I need a different car. The Mazda, when I went in to order it, they then tried selling me the extended warranty. And I was like, no. And they kept pushing. I don't know. I'm a girl, so I think that they think they can pressure me. But finally, I just looked at the guy and I said, I'm buying a Mazda so I don't have to get the extended warranty.
Yep. And
he just looked at me and he just knew right then and there that he wasn't selling me that warranty. I haven't needed it. The only thing I've done that car is basic maintenance, oil changes, tires. Yeah. You don't need a warranty with the Mazda. You just don't. Yep. And then I found out the mechanic up on my dad is uber cheap because I needed to do some. Oh, I had an oil leak. Super cheap mechanic. I'm going up there from now on. Holy crap, dude. The dealership probably would have charged me like $800 and this guy was like 250. I'm like, okay.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they had to get into the engine. That's part of the reason why it's so damn expensive. Like trying to get to the engine in a Mazda, any foreign car.
Yeah.
I like how we went from relationships to cars.
and all because of Leafy, really. He's kind of brought those together.
Right. You're right.
It was his Mercedes. Go. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about Mercedes. I don't.
No. Now, if he had said he had a really knobby, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a car that would, but it had a lot of knobs on it. Would you have been impressed? Because it had a high knob count. Like, well,
I really do want a Corvette.
Do you like the new ones, or do you like one of the Stingray?
I think the last one I really liked was was it the 2013 C6? Is that what it was?
Oh,
I like the round tail lights.
Yeah. Yep.
I want the round tail lights back. What is it? The 2013? Did you look it up?
Yeah, just really quick. I mean, well, they're not perfectly round. They're oblong. It looks like. Are you talking about like literally round?
Let me see. Show me the back. Now we're looking up cars.
Oh, sorry.
44,000. Holy shit. Excuse my language.
That's not bad.
26 photos of this guy. Oh, they have a big spoiler on it. Holy crap. No, this has round taillights.
Oh, taillights. I thought they just had headlights. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like the traditional taillights. I hate that they changed them.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, I like the new taillights. I'm like, they're not Corvette lights, bro. Like, shut up. Sit down. Those are not Corvette lights.
Yeah, when I think of Corvette, like quintessential Corvette is the Stingray, like from the 7, and that had the round lights.
Stingrays are nice.
It had the flip up, didn't it?
Chad, do you guys want to see Corvettes? Am I being mean by not sharing these? Here, let me find StreamYard. We're looking at cars and they're like, what? Is it this one? What's the title of this tab? Oh, it's in Indiana. There you go.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well,
I don't like the spoiler. That's a little too much.
Yeah, I mean,
you keep that's a redneck Corvette. Like,
I don't even know when they're that high if they're how functional they are.
Dude, it's only got 15,000 miles on it.
Wow.
I wonder for 43,000 though, with only 15. I wonder if this is a pretty basic package.
Well, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I know BMWs, Mercedes, all those, they have crappy resale. As soon as you drive off the lot, they're like, I don't know, 20% of what they sold them for. I thought Corvettes are about where it's kind of in that same realm where
you lose a lot, but I mean, only 15,000 miles and it looks like new.
Yeah.
But I believe these were starting at 55.
Oh.
So they want 43. Maybe this is a better package.
Well, the market though, from what I understand, I haven't had a shop in it, but I understand like, the used market is ridiculous still. I think it's been that way for like 2 or 3 years where just tack on 10 to 15.
Oh, where things are because people are desperate for used cars. Yeah.
I think I think I'll stick to my little Corolla. It's it's cheap gas and lasts forever.
These are nice. So I like IMSA racing. I don't watch a lot of racing, but IMSA has become my favorite because I've hated NASCAR for a while. It's just like, come on, guys. Part of auto racing is like the car.
Mm-hmm.
And they try so hard to make it just about the driver, which has totally removed the whole point of it being a team sport. Like it's about building the car too. And then Indy racing really lost me when they divided into IRL and kart. I used to love like just the straight up kart racing. And then we used to always go. And when like Michigan International Speedway got bought out, suddenly they had lines on the infield and you had to stay within the lines and you couldn't have fun like you used to. And they started treating the IndyCar races like they were NASCAR races. And it's like, you can let us have fun and be loud and stupid. That's why people come here for IndyCar races.
Right.
But I just like, taking the fun out of stuff like that, and auto racing being so commercialized. And then I think indie racing, they also started standardizing the cars too much. I can't remember. But then when my brother, like, I went to his place one time and he had an IMSA race on, and I was like, what is this? And I found out like who was racing in it. And then I found out there was a Corvette team, and I was like, okay, let's go. This is good. And the Corvettes generally do quite well.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. Corvettes. Don't question their superiority.
Well, I'm thinking like, because I'm thinking like what playing like not Grand Theft. What is it called? Gran Turismo and stuff like that. I just remember Corvettes, like front end or rear wheel vehicles, are just handling cornering is a pain in the butt. So I'm always thinking like front wheel. But what is that?
Are any of those sports cars front wheel drive though? Because like I don't think so. Because they spin out. They will spin out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was something that I used to.
Isn't it more power though if you're rear wheel?
Oh, it is. They're typically a lot faster. They just don't like. I mean, because you can they call them rice rockets. You can beef up imports that are front wheel drive.
Also, this isn't power steering. Like, I'm sorry, I cut you off again. But isn't it easier to control a rear wheel drive vehicle?
If you don't have power steering, I would imagine so. But with power steering, I mean, you just with a finger doesn't.
Right, but you're not going to have power steering in an Indy car or any sports car because that's more weight to the vehicle.
Well, I know the Firebirds had. I don't know how sporty those are considered, but I know.
Well, I mean, like on the racing circuit.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
And I think that's my curiosity.
Like all cars on market are no one drives without power steering these days.
Right,
it's hard.
Well, the really tiny ones, like the Miata.
Have you driven a car without power steering?
I personally have not. No.
Oh my gosh. My uncle had this like 50s car and he let me drive it up north. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No power anything on that car. It was so weird.
Well, it's a boat, right? It weighs like 3 tons or something like that.
And then the back seat was like a couch.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty swanky, but damn, dude. Yeah, that's an abomination.
So what kind of race? What kind of race is it? Then the word you even said I'm not familiar with.
IMSA. What the hell does IMSA stand for? Oh my gosh. I keep joking around with Rumble. I'm like, you guys need to get IMSA on Rumble. I don't think they can afford it.
So I guess I can. Is it IMZA?
No, it's SA. I used to know. They don't even tell you what it means. What the hell? I'm sure it's International Motorsports Association, maybe. That's what I'm guessing.
Yep, International Motorsports Association.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Look at you.
And they're an LLC. It just makes sense. Yeah, nah. Like on their website, they're like, look at that car, man. Lamborghinis, and they've got all the top racing cars. So you have brands versus brands.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they do have everyone on the track for different divisions. Oh, that sexy Corvette. Oh my gosh.
Porsches. I think there are some Porsches that have the Carrera GT is actually 4-wheel, if I'm not mistaken. So there are some Porsches that are front wheel that can haul, but
probably not on the racetrack though. It could be though. It'd be worth looking into, honestly, because that's interesting.
I'd be curious, but yeah, but okay, so that's really so you soup up like cars that you might. Well, I mean, I don't say that many Lamborghinis, but it's more of like a free for all. It's not a stock car. You do whatever you want to whatever car you have, and you run it. Is that more of the?
Mr. Cage says I ordered a new Camaro like 11 days ago and it's still not here. Lol, I hate online shopping.
Wait, they're making Camaros again?
Oh, yeah, dude. They've been out for a while. My boss loves Camaros.
Since the 90s?
Oh, they've been making them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Camaros are nice.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking of? Yeah, that was what Bumblebee is a Camaro, isn't it?
Bumblebee?
Oh, yeah, from the Transformers movie. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
I never watched the Transformers. I was a Voltron girl.
You could be both. I was a Voltron guy.
I don't know. I didn't like the Transformers.
But Voltron transforms.
I just didn't like them. They were boring.
Wow. Wow. You just happened to hit on the one thing that I base my identity on.
Oh, no, that's it. We can't be friends.
That's it. No. No, but Voltron's cool. It's unfortunate I missed. I think I'm about 4 years too old for Power Rangers, which are essentially, to me, Voltron done not quite as well. But it stinks because if I had been into it, there's so many conversations and people that I would get along much better. But between that and Pokemon, I was too old for those, and I completely missed out on that whole.
I watched She-Man and She-Ra and Voltron. That's what I watched after school. I'd walk up to the TV and like turn the dial.
Oh yeah,
and the volume knob. Yep. My brother was my dad's remote control. Okay. A lot of kids were remote controls back in the day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially when your TV was a piece of furniture. It had a wooden cabinet around it, and you had to walk up and you had the giant knobs, big knobs to.
Okay, Glitch says the 2016 Z06 is $80K off the lot base package. Damn, that's the high. There's like, I think, aren't there like two models though? Like the Z06 is the good one.
Yeah.
But the 2016, I think, is when the guy who designed what is that ugly? Oh, the Aztec. That's the guy who designed
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's when the new taillights came in. Because that bastard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, put the round taillights back on the freaking Corvette.
How do you go to you look at what he did, like the Aztec, and you say, that's the guy we want to put doing anything with any car, especially a Corvette. I don't know. Bad management.
I have a GM discount. I get lots of money off my vehicles. I do not own a GM car. I went to the Japs. My car was made in Japan, sailed across the Pacific, stopped off in Seattle, and then made its way to Flat Rock in Detroit.
Wait, were you following it? Were you actually like, or did you?
Yeah, my sales guy was keeping tabs. He's like, here's where it's at. And yeah, my freaking car just floated across the ocean. It's great. I'm glad it made it. I'm glad there weren't any issues.
Yeah.
That sucked. Like, sorry, but we lost your car in a typhoon, and it's gonna be another 16 weeks.
That's something, and rightly so, but that's something I was actually watching some videos on, like the Titanic and some like cruise liners and other ocean related tragedies. And obviously the important part is the human loss and everything. But then when they list off what was in them or like what they were carrying, and you're like, dang, somebody missed out on their car, they missed out of their this or there. It shouldn't be something you focus on, but you think about it like that would be my luck. Like, I don't even know why, but for some reason the entire ship went down, and you feel bad saying, well, dang it, now I don't get my car. But at the same time, it's a tragedy on multiple levels is my point.
At the same time, you don't get your car.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, here's
the thing though. You can't, if you have an emotional response to every tragedy that happens in the world, you're going to be living a miserable existence. I had a lady come to my chat when I was on Twitch. She's a sweet lady. And she informed me a few months ago before I stopped streaming over there that she had lost her son. And she said something really interesting. She said, I feel guilty feeling bad for him when other people are experiencing tragedies in life. And she's a witch. So I don't think she believes in God at all, but I had to say it to her. I said, you can't worry about the rest of the world. God put your son here for you to worry about. That's your job. Yeah. It's okay to mourn his loss. And I hope that hit her in the right spot. But I don't get sad over all these different tragedies. It's part of life.
Yeah.
Like, people die. Yeah. And you're responsible for the people who are in your life. Mm-hmm. But you can't take the weight of the world on your shoulders. Nobody can. And you have to be a better part of life, and you can't do that if you're always sad. So
yep. And it's too much. I mean, that's part of the reason I've unplugged. Not to your extent. You went on mini sabbatical. I
did.
Which is smart. I probably should do one of those as well. But I started cutting back on like YouTube videos about, like good channels that I like, people that I like, but they're talking about things that I have no control over. I can't do anything about. And all I'm doing is increasing aggravation, stress levels, because there is, aside from praying, now if I'm going to be a prayer warrior and say, hey, I need to know what's going on so that I can pray about this specific instance and pray God's will into that, that's one thing. But if I'm not looking to do that, or God's not called me to do that, me knowing all the hell that's happening around, that I am powerless to do anything about it. It's not, I'm not, like you were saying, it's not my place, not my role, at least in this moment, I am not called into that. Well, then all it is just, it's just a weight. And it's like, but to your point, and while you were getting distracted by that, while I'm getting, depressed or angry over all this stuff, there's somebody in my life that actually needs, 20 minutes of my time. And I'm just too pissed off and too worked up about all this stuff that doesn't really matter.
And you just keep watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Matt Walsh, but I can't do any more of the trans stuff. Like some of the stuff he's been talking about is an abomination. And there are people who need to know that it's going on. But like I haven't watched him in probably a month now. I still give Daily Wire money. I believe in what they're doing. And I really, one of the reasons why I do give money is because I believe in the entertainment aspect of it. There's only one movie that they made that I liked. The rest of them I didn't like. But I love that they're putting out a kids show this summer. Rob Schneider is doing one of the voices, which is awesome.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really cool. Those are my favorite SNL days. I used to watch it religiously, like every Saturday at 11:35. Boom, there. But back when the show was good. Then they fired them all, and I was disgusted by what I saw the next few weeks and quit watching. But
wow.
Yeah, but Michael Knowles is my favorite guy. And what's funny is I didn't like Michael Knowles at first. I thought he was a pretentious prick, and I didn't get him. But they're very good. They're very clickbaity. Well, no, they're not clickbaity because they actually deliver. But like all the stuff they put on YouTube, and I wish they put it on Rumble, like the yes or no game, the dictator trivia with Michael Malice, all the different fun little game shows that they do, and the reaction videos and stuff. The Michael Knowles team is really good at putting those out, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta watch this. Okay, I'm gonna check this out. I love Michael Malice. Okay, I'm gonna watch this hour-long trivia thing. That was fascinating because he had a memorabilia piece from every dictator. But after a while, I started to like catch on to Michael Knowles' personality and actually get him, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this guy. I do. He's like my favorite commentator now. He's absolutely hilarious. What about Jim Brewer here on Rumble? Well, Jim Brewer is a comedian who is fun, but I don't know. He doesn't draw me though. Michael Knowles is someone who shares a culture with me. I do like how he's incredibly proper, but he has like the spice. He has a really cool sense of humor. And then he's very intelligent. I love how he is a lit guy because I also have an interest in literature, and not many people do. Like, I've got books behind me that are like 18th and 19th century lit, and then I've got some ancient lit back there. Yeah, I've got some ancient lit over there with like also some chick lit from the 19th century. I've read a lot of the books. Some of them I still need to read. And then I have a lot of theological stuff as well. Not exactly interest people have these days. And Michael Knowles, boom, the dude is there. He's spot on. So I absolutely love his show. Yeah. And I'm glad Daily Wire did a really good job getting me to click on his freaking videos on YouTube, because that's how I got to know him. So I'll check in with him like once or twice a week. And I really love his member segment stuff on dailywire.com because it's very humorous. And it's fun hearing his perspective on some of the pop culture stuff too. Like they'll have him review like the latest Taylor Swift song or some other funky stuff that's out there. And it's kind of entertaining seeing the stuff that he actually likes.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool too. Like you get guys that get very fired up, get very passionate, and that's wonderful. I like to see that, but I also like to see, like Michael knows from what I've watched, like I've never seen the guy raise an eyebrow. Like really, I mean, it's a very calming, very steady, and
he's at peace. Yes, he's at peace. Yeah. And Matt Walsh, the content of his stuff, I just, again, he reports stuff that is so disturbing because it's just getting worse. And I appreciate him and his cause because we need him. Like, he's actually done a lot of good. Excuse me. And he's another one whose sense of humor, it took me a little while to get. Everything is delivered as a joke. When even though he's serious about it, like his rough, gruff exterior is quite funny. And that's why it's sad that a lot of the stuff is so serious, because I've reached a point these last couple months where it's like, I can't watch this stuff anymore. Yeah. I need to just go to something more peaceful. You can only take so much.
Yep. And it is relentless. And I will say that was actually one of the very few encouraging things that if it has actually happened in regarding, kind of going back to what we talked about a little bit with the Bible. I remember when I read Revelation and it talked about people falling away and perversion and wickedness. And when the Bible would say, the wicked say, oh, we wait and, we sit and wait and we thirst for blood. And I'm like, okay, come on, Bible, you're being a little melodramatic. Revelations, you're being a little bit over the top. There's no way in heck people are going to buy into something so overtly wrong and wicked.
They've been doing it for centuries.
But well, I guess in my small part of the centuries, I had not seen evil taken for good and good taken for evil so distinctly and so sharply as it has in the past like 5 years. I know what it has been, but it has been so poignant that I'm like, okay, I mean, there's a little solace in, okay, somebody called that shot already. Like, and we're actually seeing it manifest exponentially faster than it has all these past 20 years. Like
the Christian period was an anomaly. That is not what the human race naturally falls towards.
Yep. No, I agree.
And you look at all the, like, any society that's not Christian, there's so much death and destruction. It's really true, dude. But you don't have a respect for life at all. And we're seeing that in our culture right now. It's all about death, from abortion to, Canada's maid service. And we had little Jack Kevorkian incident in the 90s, to self-mutilation, which is so prominent in our society now. Man, it's the culture of death right now, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. And it's one thing if it exists, if it's there, but for it to be endorsed and celebrated
by the government. Yeah. And pushed.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Pushed on people. Yeah. In schools.
Oh.
It's like, if they can't abort you, then they try to sterilize you so you can't have kids. They try to get you as a kid and prevent you from having children. And then if that doesn't work, then they try to mercifully kill you. Like, hey, we're going to help you remove your pain. And it's like, how about you just help me get healthy?
Right. Well, but there's nothing wrong with you. That's the cruel thing that people don't understand about a lot of people don't seem to get when they're championing these causes. What you're telling somebody, it's like if somebody has an ear infection, you know how bad that can hurt and everything. If you went to the doctor and said, oh, you're fine, there's no problem. What that's telling you is, I don't have a solution for you because you don't need one, because you're nothing wrong, but you're going, my ear hurts. This is miserable. I wouldn't want to live the rest of my life with a freaking ear infection. And so these people are being told there is no hope there. There's nothing wrong with you. Therefore, there's no hope for a treatment, because this is just who you are. So who you are is perpetually miserable, depressed, at conflict. And who wants to live like that? They
told me that I was trans when I was younger.
What? Really?
Oh yeah, they would have told me if I had grown up in this period.
Oh, I thought you said they did. I was like,
I was a tomboy. I hung out with the guys. I hated my femininity. I was insecure. I felt weak. I mean, is it any wonder that I have walls up, And I didn't even start to embrace that until my 30s. Yeah, when I started to have more confidence in myself. I wouldn't even wear pink until my 40s.
No kidding.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
Jeez. And you genuinely like the color. You just didn't.
No, I hate pink.
Oh, you hate
pink? It's funny because I'm wearing it right now. But
I was about to say, wait a minute. Don't believe your lying eyes.
I hate purple more, but I have a purple dress I wear a lot because people just like purple on me. It's like, well, if it looks good, I'll freaking wear it.
But it's more now in defiance. You're saying, I'm going to wear this because I'm okay with the fact that it makes me feel feminine or look
It
feminine.
was available. It was like the only thing that was available that matches what I have, because I have a lot of sleeveless stuff and a lot of dresses are sleeveless, and I don't like sleeveless. So someday when my arms are super defined, maybe. But I don't think it's appropriate to go sleeveless in certain situations. And then living in Michigan, like it's also cold.
Yeah.
Most of the year. It's been chilly lately with all the cold fronts we've had moving through. So
Really?
yeah. Oh, it's been raining for a month.
No kidding. Because you're not that far from, we're what 5 hours maybe?
Yeah, we had sun the other day. I usually go for a walk on my lunch, which is a half an hour long, and it was beautiful that day. And then my lunchtime hit, and we had a thunderstorm for half an hour. I was like, mother trucker. So these last 2 days, it was beautiful in the morning, and I just went for a walk before work because it's been raining almost every day.
Wow. Well, I hear that's the best time. Like the sun, the whatever you get from the sun, the vitamins or whatever, they're better at like dawn and dusk. So the earlier in the day or the later in the day is the better.
That doesn't make sense because it's not direct sunlight.
That's okay. I that's what I heard, but it was not.
Maybe it's some like hipster journal. You got that. But I do try to get out every day for 20 minutes because I try to get 20 minutes of sun exposure. So like if I'm walking at 10 a.m., that's fine. Like the sun is up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Heck, it's up. Well, here it's up. Like we're because I'm about as far west as you can go without actually being in the next time zone. So well, it's not light anymore, but it's usually like light till about 9:45 or so. Sunrise is about 7. So it's probably, I guess, reversed for you. You probably have a little earlier mornings and then sunset earlier, I reckon. Not that that's
well, I'm Eastern.
Yeah, you're east of me, right? Yeah.
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 Not far. You're
No.
like under us. Well, Ohio is on. Are they still under me? I moved. Yeah, toward the border.
I'm East Coast. Anything west of Virginia, I have no clue other than like Colorado. But
dude,
yeah.
I lived in Wisconsin for a year and I hated it. I will never live on the eastern edge of a time zone ever again because the sun sets so much earlier. It's a nightmare. No, western side for me. Western side of the time zone. That is actually a factor when I move. Hey, Ken. You wrong. You right. I'm reading these comments.
Oh yeah.
There's only one God. Put my foot down on that one. And a lot of things people mess with are actually demons. Facts. It's interesting. You talk to someone who's left witchcraft and they've got some dark stories to tell you. You don't want to fuck with that.
Yep. My mom actually, there was a gal that she used to be, I mean, she would be taken out of her body at night. Like she did it voluntarily at first. And then she started being,
I just saw an interview with a lady who had done that successfully.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to share that. It was the most recent Matt Fred interview. Dang, that was interesting. She used to be a Wiccan, and she talked about her experience leaving. And it was funny. I had messed with tarot a little bit when my friends were in it, friends I no longer am friends with. And she was talking about like thoughts that she was having that were not her, and they were nasty thoughts. And I dealt with that for a while. And when I came back to the church and I went to that confession before Easter last year, I told my priest about it because I knew I had to tell him. And I'm like, I threw him out. I had like this crazy like conversion last year, but like I was really wrestling with dark thoughts and I felt like there were forces at battle for me, both good and evil. And I won't get into the Mary thing because a lot of people who aren't Catholic don't get the Mary thing, but I never was, someone who was devoted to Mary, but I honestly believe God sent her for a reason. But yeah, I was having just thoughts that on things I would never do, but they were there a lot. And this lady had really bad thoughts. And this was when she walked away. And this is usually when it happens. When you walk away from witchcraft, that's when they start experiencing the freaky crap, because a demon's not going to mess with you if you're lost. But if you start to go on the path of being found, that's when they start messing with you. And it can be very scary. And when she, excuse me, had confessed, that's when she felt like they saw something come out of her. And then that was the end of her thoughts. I didn't have anything to that extent. I wasn't like doing witchcraft or anything, but I still messed with something I shouldn't have. And the freedom that I felt after I did go to confession, I told him too. I told him what I told you. I felt like there were dark and light forces both fighting for me. And it was scary, but I haven't had any of those thoughts either since. So it's awesome. Not everything is yours.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yep. Especially it says the accuser is constantly accusing other people. So you have a thought. I mean, how many times I at least for me, I'm imagining a scenario that has never happened and never actually will, but it's something that I think is going to happen. Well, if I say this to this person, they're going to say this to me. And it's like this scenario it's not coming from my head, but it's essentially accusing, well, this person thinks this about you, or they said this because of this. And almost every single time that's not in any way aligned with truth at all. But if you buy into that, then you go into that situation with a bad headset, or you don't even try to communicate, or you don't even try to work something out because you're just, oh, that person's just this. It's like they're not that at all. But there's accusation. Yeah, it's a mind game. It's a mind job for sure.
Well, they try so hard to convince you, and they succeed with some people, and it's scary what happens. There was also another interview that Matt did. I shared the link in my chat for the Wicca interview. He interviewed a yogi who talked about his experience. And that was an enthralling interview. Oh my gosh. The guy's entire story. I'll just type yoga. But I highly recommend when you guys, have time, because they're long interview. I listen to long form interviews. This is what I do. This is why people don't see me a lot. But they're both incredibly fascinating. The yoga interview is like, damn, dude, that's some scary shit. Like later on. And he wasn't just like doing yoga at a New York studio or something. Like this guy was hardcore into it on a spiritual level. And it's fascinating. But there's a big battle going on out there. The reason why I was led here to Rumble. I'm here for Bear. I love you, Kat. That. Yep. Arizona's light or dark, no in between. Yeah, they don't change time zones there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, that's kind of nifty.
I think we should stay on the one we're on right now.
Yeah, I could dig it.
I like daylight savings because the daylight lasts longer. Well, it doesn't last longer, but it's later in the day.
Right.
Why would you change the clock so it gets dark sooner in the winter when everyone's depressed and crabby? And it's hard to drive home in the freaking snow and wet when it's dark. They wonder why car accidents go up in the fall. Like, come on.
Yeah. I think it's you lean into the spin is what I think they're thinking. Let's just go all, and it's going to suck being in the winter. Let's just make it the worst thing possible. You'll come out stronger on the other side.
I think the excuse they gave a while back was, well, it's so the kids don't have to go to school in the dark. It's like, you know what? A lot of kids go to school in the dark anyway. It's called the North. Like, stop. Right. Let them come home in the light and go out and play in the snow so they don't get fat and unhealthy and have like 40-year-old spines when they're 25. That's actually a real thing.
What, like as a prevalent thing?
Well, people are so fat these days in their 20s. When I was doing ultrasound, I walked in one day to show my radiologist the ultrasound. I'm like, hey, he's like, how old do you think this spine is? And I'm like, well, I don't read x-rays, and I looked at it because I knew a little bit about disc spacing from watching the others. And I was like, is it 40? And he's like, it looks like a 40-year-old spine, but she's actually 25.
Oh,
this is what being overweight will do to you. I was like, holy crap. So when I struggle with weight, that's one of the things that I think about because I don't want to. You only get one body. Yeah. And we're all going to die because a lot of people have that attitude. Like if they don't want to give up smoking, they're like, well, we're all going to die anyway. And it's like, yes, but do you want to have a long, painful life or do you want to enjoy your life while you're here?
Right.
It's not necessarily about extending your life, because a lot
Mm.
of healthy people die when they're young for whatever reason.
And smokers.
A lot of unhealthy people live to be 90 or 100, but they're miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. They're just in so much pain.
Yep. Or the people around, I mean, yellow teeth, the yellow, there's just, smoking is like one of those really, I don't think it's unfair, because, we all have our vices, we all have our bad habits, but smoking is like the crappiest of them, because it just screws up so much.
It's not fun like drinking.
No, yeah, see, drinking, you have to vomit maybe at some point, but other than that, it's pretty good. Yeah, smoking, everything about it just turns you into, everything just nasty, callous, blah. Yeah, drinking is
disgusting. I won't date someone who smokes either. That's a no-go. I'm maintaining down 40 pounds. I'm working on losing more. Yo, Glitch and I are in the 40 to 50 pound club together. It's great.
You're targeting a weight loss.
We've lost.
Oh, yeah. You have lost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Holy cow.
I don't weigh myself though. I stopped weighing myself several years ago, because I would as a woman, you can have a day where you think you've lost weight and you get on the scale and you weigh more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I can't do this. So then you get upset and you go eat ice cream. So weight for women is horrible. So I gave up the scale. I still have the scale. I just haven't stepped on it in years. And the last couple of times I went to the doctor, I was like, don't tell me my weight. I don't want to know. I'm getting curious now. I have a rough estimate though, based on how my clothes fit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think you're feeling better. As a guy, same exact thing. I actually stopped going, because I had a thing. I made a schedule for myself at 7 o'clock every morning. I will weigh myself, and I want to see the progress. And I'd have 2 or 3 days where, I would see a little bit here.
Daily weigh-ins. You can't do it, man.
No.
It's tough.
I stopped.
How the body works. But now, I'll look at my ankles. My ankles are a good gauge of water retention.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm retaining water, it's probably because I've been eating some carbs. So I might do a day of fasting with a bunch of electrolytes. I will drink a lot more fluids though. And I'll generally go to straight water at that point and not do the electrolytes, just to try to flush it all out of my system. But once my ankles are back to normal, it's like, okay, we got to get the salt. I got to have the electrolytes. Otherwise, then I might go into heart palpitation territory. So when you do keto, you gotta know how to balance the fluids. But if you're cheating in keto, that's knowing how to balance the fluids. If you just stay straight keto, your body is going to be running like a well-oiled machine, and you know exactly what to put in it every day. Leafy loves dye. Sorry, I heard that. That's funny. Damn, Glitch, you're almost down to my army weight. Holy crap. Glitch is way shorter than I am too. So that's massive. Props.
198.
She's 5'2".
Wow. That's, but down to 158. That is a phenomenal. Oh my goodness gracious. And do you have a target? Are you, because I know you said you're not wait, is it I want to be able to fit into this set of clothes?
I go by clothing sizes. So I have I have 3 sizes in my closet, although I only have a couple of items from the size I was in when I was in the army. But even then, that size was a little tight. But the 2 sizes I've been in most of my adult life, and I'm in the bigger size right now. But the other thing that sucks, though, is you drop sizes way slower the more you lose. You're going to be in that size for a while. No, it's the other way around. I don't know.
Well, you plateau. You go down and you hit a plateau where you're starting to, it's very incremental. You lose a lot up front, from what I understand.
Well, I'm losing weight in places I don't want to lose weight. I'm not losing it in places I do want to lose it. So
you're doing it wrong.
It's now it's just a distribution issue.
Maybe you just try squeezing, you just kind of push it. I try to do that. I try to get the fat.
My arms are starting to look good though. I was in my parents last weekend, and I looked at my arm, and I wasn't even flexing, and I looked at my brother. I'm like, dude, I have a bicep. I'm not even working out. This is what carnivore does to your body. It does. People have found that they get muscle tone just from eating the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs thing. I don't know if you watched the episode with me and Ryan and DLD Live.
I started
talking about keto.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My mom actually has got me into, at various points, we started off with the keto, and right now it's a complete overhaul of the diet. So I actually was intrigued. I started watching that because it's something I'm looking to get into actively, especially because it sounds delicious, actually.
Check out Dr. Ken Berry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he might actually be the one that my mom recommended.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
So he's an advocate for carnivore, which I do. I'm now doing 2 weeks on carnivore and then 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to stay keto, but my 2 weeks off are when I'm craving things like pizza. So if I'm going to do cheat days, I'm going to do it on the days when it's, when I can't really adhere to carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the whole listen to your body thing.
Mm.
But when I do cheat days, it's very easy for me to get back on the diet.
Really?
Because my body I feel like when I turned 40, I gave up on the idea of like ever having kids because my body felt so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't think I could do that. And now I'm 46 and it's like, if I got married, I would totally try that because I feel like I'm in my 30s. I do. I feel 10 years younger now. My body is actually working. While I have a little bit of, nasal drip right now, and my allergies are kind of funny this week. The fact is, I'm off my allergy meds. I used to not be able to breathe without Zyrtec. And I was like that for years. Yeah, it's life-changing. The only problem is if I'm going to do a pirate panel and we get drunk, I need to eat spaghetti or pizza. Like the last time we did a pirate panel, I didn't have carbs. And that is a huge mistake. Like, you do not drink without carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Like you, I like to get a little buzz, but getting drunk is a nightmare, especially the next day. And I got my ass up and went to mass the next morning. I did. Nice. I was like, yeah, I can't not go to church because I got drunk. Yo, Shrek Freak. Yo, dude. My target weight, no muscle built, is 135 to 140.
Oh, dang, you're close.
Muscle building 150. Nice, Glitch.
Wow. Yeah, you're what? That's another 15, essentially 15, 20 pounds, and you're there.
You won't be skinny either, though, at your height, which is nice. See, that's another thing. Like, I was on Weight Watchers before, like in my 20s, and I tried it in my 30s when I was mountain biking, and I couldn't do it. I had no energy. Even like doing the adjustments for their point system based on like activity. Nah, you got to be keto. In my 20s, I lost like 35 pounds, but I was in my 20s. My body was healthy. It was processing food properly. By the time I got into my, late 30s, that wasn't the case. I actually went on an antibiotic in 2009 that I got sick one week. And I think that destroyed my digestive tract. Like suddenly I started like slowly getting like heartburn symptoms and it got really bad. And the only thing that would settle it was keto. But then the thing that seemed to cure it was carnivore. Because now I can actually go eat a cheat meal. Like, what if I do want spaghetti? I won't have heartburn or any serious issues if I have one meal. My body will actually process it. Whereas before, my gut was miserable. If I do start to, if I fail too many days in a row, though, I'll start to have symptoms of stuff. But the reason why I'm still loving carnivore, because even though I'll let myself do like salads or stuff for the other 2 weeks, the fact is I'm actually at a point where I'm kind of afraid to eat salads. I love salads, but not having fiber move through your digestive tract, not having it there is amazing because fiber is just stuff you crap out. There's no nutritional value to it. And people they're like, well, how are you going to poop if you don't eat fiber? And it's like, you don't need to poop if you don't eat fiber. Right. You're pooping because your body is like, why the hell are you putting this in here?
That's abomination.
You don't poop out meat. Your body completely breaks it down by the time it goes to the small bowel. Completely broken down into nutrients. So you don't poop much. You know how much toilet paper I save? We're talking about poop on Rumble, chat. Let's go.
I believe I'm trying to think if there's a topic we haven't that's bizarre enough that we haven't somehow touched on it yet, but I can't think of one at the moment.
Yo, T45, what's up? I don't want to carry kids, but Noobs is a man, so it's Probably a good thing, noobs.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember actually when I was old enough to realize, and it was probably 5 or 6, how fortunate I was to not have so much information. No such thing. No such thing. 3-step. Yeah, well, that was another thing that was really getting hit home. My mom just she is trying to get herself healthy. She's been through hell for the past 10 or 15 years, and so she's really doing a lot to get the electrolytes back, to get the magnesium and all these other things that her body is put out. And she was saying essentially, like, the food is designed to kill you. A lot of the food, the processed foods and everything, she's like, it's done in a bad way. It's like all the problems that we have now. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to that. It's like it didn't used to be that way because they weren't screwing with the food. And so it's more about, like you were saying, find the organic stuff, get the good meats and fats, and that just so many of our woes now, our modern woes that are being solved with medicine, is actually bad diet, bad habit, not enough exercise, just basic healthy things. If you do those, your body will get on track. You may need a little help, but that's why low energy. It's not low T. It's not ADD. It's not all these other things they throw out at you. It's probably you're just not eating well enough. You're not taking care of your body.
A lot of men have reported their testosterone levels going up by like 1,000 points just by switching to a carnivore diet.
Oh, kidding.
1,000 points. Yeah, it takes them back into normal. And you have men going for medication trying to raise their testosterone. And it's like, well, stop eating soy, bro. Like, go eat a fucking steak. Like, you're supposed to. Yeah. And what they found with women is that they found that women, fertility wise, Dr. Barry has told this story a few times. He said that, we'd have like middle-aged women come in for like diabetes and they'd go carnivore diet. Of course, it cures the diabetes, completely gone, reverses a lot of ailments. And then they get pissed off at them because suddenly they're 55 and pregnant. And they have found, many of these doctors have found that women's menopause has been pushed off by carnivore, and women are having children later in life.
No kidding.
Yeah. So a lot of these women who are like in their 20s and 30s who can't get pregnant, like, maybe you should just change your diet.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense since your body needs to be healthy if you're going to do that. My pop replacement is G Fuel and Ghost. That's something interesting. My mom was diagnosed with MS in 96. And I found out last year she went off her meds. And I'm like, how the hell did you just go off your meds? And she said, well, I quit drinking Diet Coke. And then they tested me and I stopped having symptoms. So my doc took me off my medicine. I'm like, really? The medicine that costs $1,000 a week? I mean, fortunately, her insurance paid for it, but $1,000 a week, and you were able to go off of it because you stopped drinking Diet Coke.
Wow.
Wow. There you go, folks. I've never drank Diet Pop. It's disgusting. So
pop with soda. It's called soda.
Don't even give me that crap.
They put it on the can as soda. Nobody did.
Yeah.
Not a single thing.
Do you know how many times I pulled out a map of the United States showing where people say soda and pop? Geographically, the pop people are the winners. What? Yes. What? Yeah, there are pockets of insanity and great insecurity where people say soda. I mean, I'm not kidding you. This has been a thing in my community for years. There are old videos of me breaking out the map. We've had this argument so many times. Ken, you're from the South, aren't you? He said Coke. Everything's Coke. Oh, soda for me is club soda because I use that with my gin.
So you don't say club soda, you just say soda?
Why would I say club soda when all I have to say is soda? Like, you're adding an extra syllable.
Well, you're confusing the smart people who would act.
No, soda is the adjective. Pop is the noun. Like, why would you call something by an adjective?
Pop it's a cereal.
Like, if you have a black cat, you're not going to say, look at my black over there. You're going to say, look at my cat.
Pop is a descriptor. It's many things. It's
no. In English, the descriptor comes first. Come on, don't give me that crap.
No. I'm saying, but like pop is an action. It's an action. It's always been an action.
Not an action. It's a noun in this case.
Not in this case. There's no exception. Soda is a noun. Pop is being maligned. It is.
We're having the soda pop wars.
This is what online debates do, though. about absolutely worthless.
This is content.
We needed conflict. You have to have conflict. That's the
my old team at work. I'm still in the teams chat with them, but like anytime someone new comes into the team, I ask them, soda or pop?
No kidding. Do you really?
For a while, we were completely team pop, and it's like 30 people. Here's the funny thing, though. I love these guys. I was on vacation, and I came back, and there was a new person in the chat. And I was like, okay, guys, we have a new person. And then I was like, yo, and I tagged her, and I was like, soda or pop? And they're all like, Di, we already asked her. I'm like, oh, what is she? They're like, soda. And I'm like, no, we're tainted. See, Glitch knows grammar.
Soda is a noun in cases like cream soda, club soda, and just regular soda. It says it on the can. The actual manufacturer can says soda on it.
Where is the y'all curtain? Places where people say y'all. I feel like it's been blended. Like I'll say y'all, but I'm not from the South. I just do it for flair. It's like when I call people bro, like it's just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that in real life. I'm not like bro. No, I'm just being a smart ass while gaming. Hey, bro. And then one day we were all like, bruh, we were just being like smug bros. That could be a game, Smug Bros. Instead of Smash Bros, you have Smug Bros.
Okay.
Dude, Glitch, you also say dag nabbit. Brah. I'm sorry, that's the new word. Brah.
Well, what I don't understand, like, it's not regional. Like, I grew up in Virginia, but like, I was not southern. It was Northern Virginia. It was like around DC. So I heard y'all, but I feel like I heard it on, watching the Smurfs. There was Country Smurf or whatever. Like, I didn't pick up the words dag nabbit. Nobody said dag nabbit, but I just picked it up from TVs and radio shows and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how they're not more ubiquitous.
It's from like
widespread.
Marmaduke. No, it's either Marmaduke or oh my gosh. It's an old comic. And it might have been Marmaduke, but like one of the old men would say dag nabbit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, I swore a few times tonight, but I used to swear really badly, and I started replacing it with silly words, and dag nabbit was one of them. And then mother trucker, I think it's obvious what that replaced.
Not to my knowledge, because I don't know what those
trucker. Like I have the emote. I see that emote more than anything in chat. And then when I go to other people's streams and I hear them saying mother trucker, like, let's go.
It does what the other word does. It hits the right consonants at the right time to feel satisfying.
Yeah, it's about the rhythm of the word. Yeah. Yep. I only say dag nabbit because of you. I know, it's great. I love using contagious words. It's great. Sometimes I'll hear an old word or read something and be like, that's neat. I'll start using it just to see if I can get people to pick it up. Nag dabbit.
Some of the best ones are words that almost sound goofy or make you, because there's a cartoon name called Freakazoid, and he would say like oh crap, now I can't remember it now. Nut bunnies. He would say, nut bunnies. And I just started doing that because you can't really keep a straight face. I mean, you can, but you can't take yourself too seriously. So if I'm angry and I go, nut bunnies, I'm kind of like, oh, you dude. Come on, like it kind of takes the power out of the anger, because usually it has its purposes, but typically I'd rather not be angry than otherwise. So nut bunnies kind of calms me down a little bit. And I just think of Freakazoid and old WB back when it was actually entertaining.
Nut bunny. I've never heard that. Sounds kind of dirty.
Well, it's a children's cartoon by Steven Spielberg.
There you go.
It might be. I don't like
Nut bunny.
It's not nuts bunny. It's just.
I feel like there's a Jew joke here. I had to. I
understand. There are some things that.
Faith and Bagora. What's that?
Bagora.
It says Coke on the package, Cat. You're from the South. It's supposed to be Coke.
What if it's Pepsi, the voice of a generation? But I've seen a lot of that on there. Like people just say it's Coke, but I'm like, that only addresses one particular kind. But
not in the South. Look, if you're gonna call all pop Coke, they pick the right one.
If you're gonna,
Yeah, because Pepsi is nasty.
Oh, I see what you're saying. As a brand. Well, have you ever had Zevia?
Yes, I used to drink it a lot.
Did you stop for like health reasons, or you just didn't drink?
When I went carnivore, I stopped drinking it and switched to electrolytes.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, it is pretty sweet, so
yeah,
I'm trying to like tame the taste buds a little bit, but I think I'm about as low on the sweet scale as I can be.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the Element uses stevia, so that's a little on the sweet side. But I use 1 packet per 32 ounces. Yeah,
okay.
Of water. So I used to buy heavy cream in these glass jars from the store I used to shop at. I moved away, so I can't shop there anymore. So I have all these like glass jars, and I distill my own water. Because if you store distilled water in plastic, that's bad. It leaches really badly. Like you need to drink it soon. You can't let it be in heat. So yeah, I distill my own water. I got like $100 distiller off of Amazon, and it's great. And I'll store it. I'll put like every week I'll do that, and then throw the jars in the fridge, and then I'll put a packet of Element in it. I'll add a little bit of extra potassium and salt to one of those, just to get some extra electrolytes. And then I need to get some more magnesium. But yeah.
That's actually those 3 things were what. Again, my mom actually lives about 1.5 miles, not by design. It just kind of happened that way.
That's nice though.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's been fancy, but she had literally just brought over 3 glass jars of magnesium or sodium. The 2 that you mentioned,
potassium and magnesium.
Yeah. And she, with the little instructions, 1/8 of a teaspoon.
Trifecta. Yep.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm trying that. And then
and if you go keto, you have to really increase your salt intake. That's like you eat a lot more salt. And people are like, but salt causes hypertension. No, salt has never caused hypertension. The science never said that. And that's also been taught in healthcare professions. I know, because I was in a healthcare profession where I actually had to understand physiology. No, water retention it's caused by carbs. 100% has nothing to do with salt. Salt will allow you to hold on to water long enough so your blood pressure doesn't drop so damn far that you're going to pass out. That's why you need a lot of salt. Because it will be way too low, and that's when you get keto flu. So the cool thing about keto is you eat salt till it stops tasting good.
Really?
Yeah, you need a lot of salt, especially if you're carnivore, because you're not getting carbs. So now, since I've been carnivore, I'm drinking like 2 to 3 Element packs a day with some added salt, and then I salt my food to taste, which is generous. Yeah. And I found that I actually wasn't getting enough salt for a little while. So, and your body will tell you when it wants you to it's like, yo, too much salt today. Just drink some water. Like, just because it's going to crave what you need.
It's weird though. I feel like, you know how like kids, they have a need, but they can't express it. They just cry, and you have to sometimes try to figure out what interpret the cry. I feel like my body does that now, where it's telling me it needs something, but I don't yet. Like if I didn't have a mother saying that, or if I didn't see like a video, like yours or like somebody else's, my body's going, meh, but it's not telling me exactly what. It's not articulating itself. And I'm like, okay, I'll try chocolate. Well, okay, I'll try ice cream. I'll try pizza. And I try all these things, and none of them seem to work. And my body doesn't tell me exactly what it is. And it's all the stuff. It's the last.
It's usually water.
Yep.
Good night, Glitch. Yeah, it's usually water.
Okay.
People aren't getting.
I did hear that you can actually like have a fake hunger just because you're thirsty. Like being thirsty can actually make you think you're hungry. Yep. I heard that, but which is just crazy. Like how have we been along? Humans have been around for so long, and we still don't have. Still seem to be clueless. Now, to your point, it's
if you eat a clean diet, you're going to crave what you need. The problem is our diet is so tainted with crap, and our body is confused and not working properly.
Yeah.
Like, so I watch Dr. Barry all the time, not because I need information. It's not that complex. I know, and I've been doing keto off and on since 2012. And I say off and on because every time I go off of it, I start to feel like crap. And it's like, I'm going to go back on the diet because I feel like crap. And it just makes me feel better. Like, it's very easy to get back on this diet. And that's why I swear by it. But I love watching his FAQ every Monday because I really enjoy seeing all the super chats coming in. Like, Dr. Barry, these are my stats this week. I've been carnivore for 4 weeks. this is how much my numbers came down, or Dr. Barry had this really weird condition and, you know, I've been on carnivore for 6 weeks and it's completely cleared it up. A lot of the people have Hashimoto's. It's a thyroid disease. Most of them are diabetic. Heart gallstones will dissolve and your gallbladder will go back to normal. A lot of us had leaky gut. And leaky gut's miserable. Yeah, I had it for years and could not figure out how to fix it. And going carnivore, just eliminating all of the crap, no fiber, no carbs, 3 straight months. And then I was able to go out for a burger 2 days in a row and not get sick, not feel like my gut was going to explode. It was amazing.
Wow.
And of course, you can't return to that way of eating because, I mean, that's what made you sick to begin with.
Yeah. So with that in mind, do you think, and I'm not pointing guns at anybody, you know, they love, veggie diets and vegans or whatever, but it almost seems like, based on what you're saying, when you talk about carnivore and you talk about the right things to eat, it almost sounds like the vegetarian vegan thing was instilled to be the exact opposite, to be the antithesis of what we're actually supposed to be consuming. Even though I know you said
it is. And they actually have, oh my gosh, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. They have studies, they have evidence of like human skeletons through different lines based on diet. And there were lines earlier on that were vegetarian, and they found like the teeth were falling out. They were more likely to break off. The skeletons were weaker, more likely to break. They were not healthy. And those lines actually died off. Whereas the lines that were meat eaters consistently through the years had really healthy teeth. Like they weren't losing their teeth. They weren't breaking their teeth. Their skeletons were strong. They got bigger. They were bigger, stronger people. And we're seeing that now vegetarians tend to lose their muscle mass. They're not as strong looking. Whereas people like me who I'm a 46-year-old woman and my biceps are bigger now. I lift like maybe once every other week.
Phenomenal.
I walk, dude. That's not how you get big biceps. I'm getting muscle tone though, for the same reason everyone else on carnivore is getting it. It's because my body is actually doing what it's supposed to do because I'm nourishing it with what it needs. And then like men who are vegetarian tend to have really low testosterone levels. Men who eat meat have higher testosterone levels, which is good. We want that. Like, stop blaming testosterone because a weak man is a terrible man. But yo, Vixen. Speaking of weak men, I'm kidding.
Oh, no.
I love you, Vixen. I saw an elderly woman in the train drinking muscle milk. Yeah, muscle milk's not bad. I think it has some stuff in it. I won't drink it because I think when I read the label, it did have stuff in it I didn't like, but it's definitely one of the better things out there. If you're going to drink something like that, yeah. But your old people who are doing fine are probably eating a lot more meat. And then the other thing is on carnivore, because again, it's a lot of us who do carnivore, it's because we had chronic conditions. They don't recommend like soft cheeses. Like I now buy Kerrygold aged cheddar. It's aged like 30 months. So I use that for my cheese. Are you leaving, Noobs, or are you just saying goodnight to Glitch? So it's a very strict diet, but it's very clean. And the reason why I think we know that the reason a lot of vegans or vegetarians, not everyone who eats vegetables is a vegan. They're not PETA people. But I mean, the reason why a lot of vegetarians do get healthy is because they were eating the normal American diet with the stuff they shouldn't be eating. And when they got off the processed food, of course they got better. But they're not having quite the results that the carnivores are having.
Right.
So you're leaving and going to bed. All right, Noobs, thanks for hanging out, dude. It was good seeing you. Have a good night.
Also, shout out to Indoor Cat for the Freakazoid, understanding the Freakazoid, or not understanding, but echoing the Freakazoid thing. It was a very short season, didn't get a lot of love, or 2 seasons. So anybody is familiar with it, I appreciate.
It's her wedding I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, yes.
She's the Florida girl.
Florida
woman.
Kat, on your pending, on your engagement and your pending wedding. That's fantastic.
Yeah, when we were actually staying on topic, I told them about your story. She's trying to get me to move to Florida.
What would be you would miss the cold weather in Michigan too much?
I actually love winter.
Yeah.
I do.
That would make Florida hard then.
I used to live in the UP. I was in heaven. I lived up in Houghton, like up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, jetting out into Lake Superior. Oh my gosh. I had world-class ski trails. I took up cross-country skate skiing, which is thrilling. And then the mountain bike trails there, some of the best in the US. We had people coming out from like Colorado and then Sedona, Arizona, trying the trails, and they're like, holy crap, these things are fun. Because like you've got elevation. Mm-hmm. And you've got like super gnarly terrain, but you're not climbing for 10 miles before you go back down. Like it's a really good workout, but it's more rewarding. And it was insane. It was fun stuff. I miss it.
So I just picked up as we're talking. So Army, medical profession of some kind, specifically mountain biking, skiing. I'm not too much far behind you on years, and I haven't done like half of what you've done. Is it just been whimsy? Just like, I just want to do this now. Is it
I tend to adapt to the communities that I join. I also rode horses. I was on the Michigan State equestrian team for a year. I rode for Michigan State.
Oh my gracious.
Wow. I've done 2 marathons.
What? 2?
I've raced some mountain bikes. Yeah, I have medals for all of those. Yep.
Wow.
I was never like this super athletic skinny chick. I just, I have endurance and I have tenacity. And when I put my mind to something, I wrestle with life. I do. And now that I'm in my 40s, I don't need to test myself anymore. I don't know why I had to test myself. I kind of want to get back into mountain biking though. I miss it.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask about that.
It was fun. And I live in a great county now with good mountain biking. Actually, I hear there's some great trails down in Indiana.
Really?
I can't remember the name of them, dude.
Oh crap. Maybe
I used to be on the board of directors of the Michigan Mountain Biking Association. So like there was a lot of networking with people from other areas, and we had like one of the big guys from Indiana come up. And then I built trails up in Copper Harbor. I built trails down here in Metro Detroit. I went over to the west side, built trails over there. I have my Matic outside. I'm in an apartment. I have my Matic out because I was using that to like clear stuff off the top of my garden.
Wow. So you are literally a trailblazer.
Literally. Yeah. Yep. I built trails on my dad's property.
Did he know about it? Did he approve it?
Okay. Yeah. He actually chainsawed some stuff for me. Those are overgrown now. It's been a while. No. Brown County. That's what it is. It just came to me.
Oh, okay. Yes. I've heard.
I need to get down there sometime. Yeah, I've heard great things about Brown County. I need to get my fork fixed on my mountain bike first, though. Like, I'll never buy a Fox fork ever again.
Fox fork.
Yeah. I've lived hard.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So it's funny when people treat me like I don't know anything. Some of these guys in the Discord who argue with me on every point. It's like, dude, did it ever occur to you that maybe I know something? I liked getting coached on business the other day because it's like, so I ran my own business. I'm an MBA. I work for an international corporation. They kind of come to me for some process improvement stuff. Markets is business 101. And you're trying to coach me on markets. Got you. Thanks. And then while I have 2 business degrees, most of my college is actually in science because I have the healthcare background, but then I was a biological science major because I decided to go pre-med. But then when Obamacare passed, I didn't want to work in healthcare because I knew the problems in healthcare at the time. Like it was already heavy-handed. Like doctors had to get creative about how to do testing because between Medicare and Medicaid and insurance companies, they dictate the testing process. And even though we knew certain tests were a complete waste, we still had to do those first because they were cheaper, even though we knew that they weren't going to do anything. So like I had a 400-pound woman one time that I had to do an ultrasound on for something digestive. You don't do ultrasounds on digestive issues. We can't see through gas. It's physically impossible. That's not how sound waves work. Like that's why you have to fill your bladder when we do a baby ultrasound. We got to look through it. But yeah, they required that we do that test first. then we could do the MRI. So if that woman had a copay or bad insurance, she ended up paying us more money in order to even gain entry to the test where we actually could see through all of that fat. It's a game. It's such a massive game. And it's people don't understand why healthcare is so expensive. It's not because hospitals are just charging a lot of money. It used to be way cheaper when government programs and insurance weren't dictating how things should be run and weren't dictating the prices, but that's what they do. It's a racket. So for people to vote to give the government more power over healthcare pricing, it's proof that people have no idea how the system works. Yeah. So when Obamacare passed, I knew that was going to totally defeat my purpose for going into healthcare, because I wanted to actually be a doctor who was going to heal people. I wanted to actually learn the art of medicine. Medicine's not an art anymore. If you can find a doctor who actually practices the art of medicine, you're golden. I prefer old doctors. I really do, because they're better doctors. Newer doctors come out of med school, excuse me, relying too heavily on what they see on diagnostic exams. I worked in diagnostics. They don't tell you everything. They're useful, but unless you have the intuition to go with it, you're not gonna help your patient. You're not. It's gonna be a bunch of extra testing, and you're probably gonna miss something, or put your patient through hell. So,
well, the tragic irony, you said, it's medicine's not an art anymore. It's clearly not a science now either. It's
facts.
It's the antithesis of science. It's
so llama.
Fantasy? Hey, llama. Hello.
Cat. She's perpetually undecided in her hobbies.
That seems to be a good summary of it.
I've just accomplished a lot. I don't know. You just hottie on the right. Dude, the men are all like in short tonight. I need to have you on more often. Oh.
I still don't forget that you rejected me, llama.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Jeez, llama. You gonna play him like that?
Well, literally, it was the game.
Like, you reject him and then you tell him he's a hottie? What? It's dirty. It's that give and take.
What were you a proponent of that game? The one with the haunted, it was like haunted house stuff, but it was like you're supposed to flirt and then you get rejected or you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I don't understand it now. Yeah, in theory.
No one was going to understand it because no one could hear the instructions. So each monster has a special ability that they have to use strategically to win the game. And I don't think anyone knew what no one was paying attention when it told us as individuals what our powers were. So that was a massive fail right there. And then what you had to do was either get people to reject you or you needed to get people to accept you, depending on what your ability was. There's one monster that wins by getting rejected all night.
Oh, that should have been me. Damn.
No one understands that fucking game except for Diebear. My other friends and I have played it and have had a great time, but we paid attention to the instructions. So with this group, I'll just play the really blatantly obvious checkbox games. But
I feel like I should be insulted. I should take umbrage with that statement, but I'm going to let it ride.
We need to get this must be a longer word. D&D.
Oh.
Group. Who wants to be? I'll do it. We just need a DM who actually knows how to DM. Let people play together. He's still typing. I cut him off.
And furthermore.
But wait. Is there more?
I think that was it.
We'll have to figure out the group that would work. Yeah, I actually created a cool character for a D&D campaign that never happened. So it was disappointing. She's neat. I kind of want to play her now. Yeah.
What is she? What is she? Is she a hybrid? What is she?
I can't remember. I need to download her and
we were talking about D&D, right?
She's cool though. What? I wonder if it was D&D Beyond. I logged in to use someone else's resources. Oh, she's a half dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I might change her back to, I could have fun with her, especially if Llama's in the group. Oh my gosh.
Well, he doesn't want to be a DM, apparently. He wants to be one of the players, which I can understand. It's DM.
I want to be a player. Do you know someone who is a good DM, though? Like, we've had Penguin DMRs, but he just wants to talk the whole time.
I mean, honestly, Roll to One, I'm not trying to plug it, but he's a younger guy, but he's been doing D&D for like 15 years. He's actually, like, when you're playing it, really good. I don't know how the show comes off for people who aren't playing, but I mean, he does a phenomenal job. And there's actually a couple other guys. Almost everybody that I play with, they're all DMs that kind of
Is he on Rumble or?
Yeah. Well, I should say he's on Rumble. Roll to One, we do have a channel on Rumble. They're primarily still on YouTube right now for the exposure, but we have a Rumble channel and they've been doing it. We're not, but yeah, I'll be running like a superhero version, a classic D&D. I think 5e is what they run, or 5, and then a Cthulhu type, like 1920s Cthulhu type weird thing. I'm not in that one, but yeah, no. So he's a cool dude. So I mean, if you're looking at like as an online thing, he might be somebody worth chatting with, because he just loves this stuff. He lives for it. That's his passion. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there just for consideration in case the idea gestates. Now, let me ask you though. So with all the physical stuff you're doing, marathon running and all this other stuff, how does gaming kind of dovetail with that? I mean, not that they're at odds with each other, but it's like, it seems like you'd be so busy. Gaming is kind of what I went to, and I'm like, I'm back to not having a whole lot to do when I'm done with my day. So how does gaming factor in with you being a very, I gotta go out here and do this type thing?
I have gamed for 5 years straight because I'm a streamer.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Before that, I would do like a month of gaming and then stop for a long time. Like, I get bored. And I would play like Civ 3. That's one of my favorite games. I played The Sims, like Sims 1 and 2 I loved. There was a lot of customizability with that too. Played some Baldur's Gate. Like a lot of single player games that didn't require you to be online and you could just play them at your leisure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just play for like a month and be addicted and then get bored and go live my life. Yeah. It was way healthier than what I do now. Right now, I'm actually really bored with gaming. Diablo 3, I've had a lot of fun with. I enjoyed doing the campaign for Diablo 4, but I'm not liking the post game.
What do they call it? The late game or the after game, or? Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not the only one who's had that reaction either. It just seems like there's not much going on. With Diablo 3, I love the armor sets, how they work. It's just fun and interesting. And when you actually collect an entire armor set and something stupid happens in your gameplay, it's like, whoa, this is OP. And suddenly you can go play like way higher than what you were. I like ridiculous stuff. I like power fantasy in my games. And I wasn't getting that in Diablo 4. That needs to be fixed. There's a lot they need to fix in Diablo 4. I think it's a great game. It's probably game of the year. But once I got to the end game, Destiny got destroyed. I used to live in Destiny. And then they just ruined it completely.
I mean, I've heard you mention it quite a few times. Is it like, is it just with updates or new versions of the game?
They deleted all the good content. Anything that Blizzard touched. And that's what's ironic. They left Activision Blizzard and then deleted all the content that Activision Blizzard made. And we found out just how bad Bungie was. They suck. They've made some good activities, but those are no longer in the game either. And I think when people say, hey, we want harder content, they don't quite understand what that means. And also, it's the select few who are like, we want harder content. I want fun and an engaging content. That's what I want. And the one thing that a lot of us really responded well to were like just tons of trash mobs. Like, let me just use my powers and be stupid. Again, power fantasy. Right. And they fail miserably on power fantasy right now. Everything just they're like bullet sponges, and they nerfed abilities with the last update or the last season or whatever. Ability regen got nerfed with the with the new expansion, that's what it is with Lightfall. Lightfall was trash. They introduced a trans character, and then they banned someone from like their Reddit community because he called the dude he instead of they. And it's like, oh, come on, Bungie. They're leftist bastards all the way. It's funny because I saw the tweet because people were talking about it between Chris and Gathalion. Mm-hmm. And Chris was trying to be convincing about why Gathalion could come to Rumble. It's not an all-right platform. And it's like, okay, I think this is where Chris really doesn't understand the Destiny community. Like, he's obviously right about a lot of things, but they canceled me on Twitch because I wouldn't validate a transgender individual who I didn't know. Like, they came to my stream and started shit with me. And then I got kicked off of my stream team, and it was a big stream team. I could have gone far with them. My channel was starting to grow tremendously. I could have made it to partner with that team. And the Destiny community is very left. It's very LGBTQ. And they need to be validated. And if Goth came to Rumble, that would be a huge deal. And not in a good way for him. The man has a family. He prefers to avoid conflict. He is a businessman. Nah. If he comes to Rumble, it's going to be a late game kind of thing. Right. Very late game. But that is not anything. Again, anything right of far left is alt-right.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these neutral folks don't understand. You are alt-right if you are not far left.
Yeah.
And so Goth can't leave Twitch. Wait, is he on Twitch now or is he still on Facebook? I don't know. It kind of sounded like he wasn't on Facebook anymore. But because he had a deal with them and he left Twitch. Yeah, super successful guy. But he, over the last couple of years, you could see how he was starting to leave certain spaces, certain business deals, or just take more of a back seat, because I think with him having his family, he just wanted to just get away from the drama, probably. That's my assumption. So I don't see him coming to Rumble anytime soon.
Yeah.
I got banned off of Destiny's Discord.
Really?
You're talking about the Destiny 2 Discord? So far been banned from Destiny, COD, Halo, and Twitch's Discord. Okay. Well, I can believe that. I know you.
Yeah, I was gonna we mentioned that earlier. It's
you're actually using you as an example.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch the stream.
Well, it's good at reading the room, but the problem is when your back's up against
it was flattering, yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice. Commendable, I would say. But I find it I find it bizarre that people still find it peculiar that the game companies, filmmakers, they seem obtuse. They seem to be completely unaware, incapable of giving an audience what it wants. And it's like that is intentional. There is really no other way to interpret it. There is definitely purpose behind it. They're just not that dumb. I mean, they are.
People looking at the boards of directors and the C-suite for these companies, are they? Because a lot of these people come from the government. Like, we noticed that with Blizzard when there was the Activision Blizzard. Gamers aren't stupid. They do their research, especially the Destiny community. Like, these people are data whores. They data mine everything. So yeah, when you have a company split and a lot of drama, they start looking at the people at the top. And what we found is, like, some of the people, I think on the executive level, were formerly part of the Bush administration.
Oh, no kidding.
There are so many, when you start looking at different gaming, there's so many government ties to gaming. So you can't tell me that this stuff isn't orchestrated.
Yeah. I liked it back in the day when the only thing the government did was put a seal on the front of the game in an arcade that said, "Don't do drugs, kids." It's like, okay, that
was the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's a Captain America game. So, go figure.
Crazy.
But, yeah. But that is a heck of a ride. And you're still, and it sounds like you're gaining. I mean, that's a great thing. I think what you said kind of ties into we talked about context, things not making sense. When you look at how things are now, if you think this is the way it's supposed to be, it's like the ear infection. The way the body is seems to be breaking down. It's like I hit my 40s not too long ago, and it was like, it's true. Like, you hit your 40s and life starts to suck physically and everything. And you go, okay, life doesn't make sense. Why are so many things miserable? Why am I so tired?
You can reverse the aging. Yeah.
But yeah, but it's like it's not supposed to be that way. That's the whole point. That's why it doesn't make sense, because this is
Allegedly.
actually not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, try it. Check out Dr. Berry and do the carnivore diet for the challenge is 3 months.
Okay.
And it's really freaking easy because it's beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
Oh, it's even got alliteration.
There you go.
But is that because that's the other thing? I'm a very simple. My mother can cook. I can burn a steak.
You're not gonna miss the other stuff.
No, I mean,
you're a man, so you don't have to deal with like your cycle and like your pizza cravings. once you get into keto, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a pizza.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with hormones doing this. Yeah, it's weird. It sucks. Man's got sauce. No ketchup, just sauce. Yeah, I ate bratwurst too. I have Johnsonville brats in my freezer. Then I buy my meat from a farmer. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
But Llama, Dare, what about this is your brain on drugs? Any questions? Didn't that convince you that drugs were bad? I don't understand. I thought it was foolproof. Oh, well.
Spicy things are yummy. Oh, you're talking about you. But yeah, if you try it, let me know how you feel. Ryan's story is insane. If you watch the rest of that video, dude, that guy was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now look at him. He looks great. He's just living his best life right now. So obviously still losing weight like me, but like we're both feeling so much better. And then DLD has a major like autoimmune issue and he has to be very strict on his diet. But that guy, damn, he's I think 26 and he's lived hardcore so far. But yeah, also same thing. Went carnivore for his health because it was the only thing that healed him, and he's doing way better.
Which, and that's a great thing. Like just getting that traction underneath you. Like even if at the moment, like just say it didn't do anything necessarily for weight, the fact that it gives you energy, the fact that you feel good again, like so much of it is, I wake up in the morning and I feel like crap. I'm like, I don't want to do push-ups. I don't even want to roll out of bed right now. But if it does have that impact chemically, in terms of your mindset and your body and everything, then at least you're willing to do the work to get the bigger muscles or whatever it is. It's that's the hardest point for me is just motivation. Like just why do anything is
you won't go back.
But,
you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any diet worth being on is a diet you're going to want to be on.
Yeah.
Yo, Channel 2 action news in the house. What are you reporting tonight? There was a commercial where the girl did weed and her dog started talking to her.
That sounds cool, actually.
Everyone do drugs. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, it sounds like a Disney movie, to be honest, but.
Yeah, new Disney. That's heartbreaking. I love the old stuff.
Yeah. I'm
talking old, like Lady and the Tramp.
Oh yeah.
I think Bedknobs and Broomsticks is Disney. That's a cool movie. Oh my gosh.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is.
I never saw that.
Oh, you should. It holds up. So because it was all practical effects, they did such a.
Yes, that's what I loved about Star Wars back in the day, and Star Trek, dude, the best. Star Trek 2 is like probably my favorite movie of all time. I love it. It's got like everything.
Is that Wrath of Khan?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they did the new one and they had Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, I was like, no, this doesn't work. He is a great actor, but no, this is not my Khan. # not my Khan.
Oh my God. You can't make me watch this. I actually was a little lucky because I didn't grow up with Trek as much. So when the new ones came out, and it kind of screwed me over as a Star Wars fan because when I saw the movies, I'm like, J.J. Abrams is not bad because I didn't understand Star Trek. So I just thought what I was seeing was Star Trek. I was like, I feel like he did a good job. I saw the visuals were kind of the same. And
he did. I felt he did a good job. Like the first one, great.
Okay.
Yeah. The second movie though.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't know. I haven't seen
it. Was good, but being someone who grew up on Star Trek, like my dad took us to all the movies.
Oh, wow.
And one of them came out when I was in the military, the last one. And I didn't get to go with the family to see it. But that's the one where Captain Kirk dies. So whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really care about Picard at that time, but I got to see the first 6. Everyone in the movie theater. And then it was the anniversary for The Wrath of Khan. I think last year my brother took me to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was sobbing at the end. I always cry at the end.
Is it sad or is it?
Well, that's when Spock dies.
Oh, okay.
It's very sad. Like,
yeah.
I just that cast had so much chemistry, and they did. Kirstie Alley was amazing.
Wait, Kirstie Alley was in that movie?
Yeah, she was Saavik. She was a Vulcan lieutenant.
What?
Who was training? Yeah, she was training on the Enterprise and trying to come to terms with Captain Kirk's shenanigans. And she was gorgeous too. And then they had another lady play Saavik in Star Trek 3 because she had taken the Cheers role and wasn't available. Cheers was a great show.
That I wish I had seen more of that, like when it was aired. But the bit that I saw, I mean, I started with Frasier because I
binge watched it on Netflix.
Did you really?
Yeah, I used to watch it on TV when I could catch it. But yeah, Frasier, that's the first show that I watched on Netflix. I binge watched it, but I used to watch that when it aired. That is such a great show, and I guess they're coming out with Frasier again. But like David Hyde Pierce isn't going to return, so it's like, what the hell? You're not going to have his brother?
That's kind of a big deal.
And also, I don't like when they continue. No, don't do it. Don't do it because Hollywood sucks right now. They just destroy everything they touch. But man, Frasier was so good.
Is Patrick Mahoney still alive?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so they're bringing back Kelsey Grammer and the dog. Well, the dog's probably dead too.
Yeah, I'm sure the dog is dead. It's because that was a 90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he? Yeah. What the hell? I don't know. I think he did. Is it Patrick or is it another name?
Oh, maybe it is.
It's.
Where did I get Patrick?
Frasier. John.
Was it?
From Chicago. Yeah, dude, he died in 2018.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know it was that long ago.
No. Although but 2018 is, it's not a long time ago, but it is like, it's further in my rearview mirror than I'd like to think.
And then, Kelsey Grammer is just a brilliant actor.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and binge watch Cheers.
Okay.
Frasier is annoying. I didn't really care for Frasier in Cheers.
Really?
Yeah. I thought he was just kind of
pompous.
No one cared about him because Ted Danson. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I later learned that the writers used to write really terrible lines for him on purpose, like just terrible lines, just to see what he would do with it. And he would actually pull it off. Like, he is that good. He is that good at his craft. Yeah. They would purposely try to like sabotage him.
Wow.
I mean, we see it all the time. There's plenty of movies where the lines are so poorly written that the actor just can't pull it off. And Kelsey Grammer just boom every freaking time. Just nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he got his own show, I guess, because he just, was because obviously you said if the character wasn't all that popular, it would be like, well, that wouldn't seem like a natural somebody to do a spinoff with, but clearly they saw that he, they had the chops to carry a show then.
Girls don't poop when they're on Carnivore, Metal Shred Freak. Sound of Freedom is good. I can't watch it. I heard people were bawling in the theater within the first 45 minutes. If I might buy it just to support it, but if I watch it, it'll be alone.
I want to buy a ticket just to boost, to contribute to it, but I don't have the time right now. But
that's true. A ticket is only what, $10 or I don't know, depending on where you're at. Yeah.
Something like that.
It's cheaper than buying the movie.
Yeah.
I love Jim Caviezel though. He's one of my favorite actors. Man, I love Frequency. I have that.
Yeah.
And then, yes, such a great movie. And then The Count of Monte Cristo, which is another book I need to read. I do have it. I love that movie. Yeah. It was so brilliantly done. And what I found out recently, because he did an interview with Michael Knowles, he did the Yes or No game. Come to find out, he puts it in his contract that they're not allowed to do script changes without consulting him and getting his approval.
Ooh.
And after they signed him on, because I think it's Disney, they flew him out there and they had rewritten the script to remove everything related to God.
Of course they did.
You can't do that in The Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah. God is central to the freaking story.
Yeah.
So he fought it and maintained the integrity of the script.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. They wanted to do the same thing. They wanted to do I think they did the movie for Tolkien.
Wait.
Or they started working on a movie about Tolkien and they wanted to remove everything about God. And it's like, you can't do that. Like his Catholic conversion is paramount.
Yeah.
And then like his conversion is the reason why C.S. Lewis became a Christian. Like
yeah.
you can't remove God from that story. It's not true.
Yeah.
Crazy sons of bitches.
It's, I mean, that's one of those things where you just look and it's allied against. It's not even a casual thing or a, we may be at odds. It's literally, no, you have lined yourself up in direct opposition to this. And what do we have in common? What common ground do we have? And there is none. Not you and I, of course. I mean Disney.
You get off my show.
When you're pop. Oh gosh.
First of all, Llama says not pee pee poo poo energy die. What? The part about girls not pooping if they're on carnivore? Whoa, spoilers. Are you talking about Spock dying? What was that in reference to? I saw John Mahoney perform in a play in Chicago before he passed. Oh, how was he? That would have been, I would imagine that would be great. Mm-hmm. He's had one hell of a career.
That's the only, I mean, I knew he'd done stuff before.
Old as fuck. Oh, we have an Ultra Fox Gaming in the house. How's it going? We have everyone stopping in tonight. It's great. All right. Well, it is midnight.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I need to get up early tomorrow because I'm still kind of doing my little retreat thing. So
definitely.
We will be back on tomorrow night, guys. We are continuing Friday Night Fights with Rainbow Six Siege at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I think the weekend will be normal. Oh, I don't know if I'll stream at 11 a.m. Saturday. I might just kind of disappear in the morning. And then Sunday we'll do our 3-4 o'clock. I think Sundays are going to be 4 o'clock from now on. I'm liking not rushing. Taking my time. I needed this week. This was huge. We will be changing the schedule, chat, for both channels. I just got to figure out. I think this next week I'm just going to kind of play around and figure it out, but we'll get it finalized after about a week. But yeah, I need to take more time for myself. It's really what it comes down to. And I'm only going to argue on Rumble Discord between certain hours.
Argue hours between 9 and 2.
I noticed how not active that Discord is this week. I'm like, because I've scrolled through and it's like, wow, there aren't like thousands and thousands of posts. I was able to skim through it with no problem. Maybe I should just stay out of there. We need to be able to chat as channels ASAP. I'm sick of having to explain people I'm Llama. Oh no. They're probably like, who the hell is like Llama's not in chat.
Oh, it screwed me up when I first met him. He introduced himself as Llama, so I remembered Llama. I did not remember his other name, but when I went to look for the channel, it got me all confused. And I happily he jumped in again, and I was like, what name am I supposed to search you under? Because but Llama is the channel. I don't know.
He's one of my. If I click on the search bar, he's the first. Like I get a pop up of people because I don't go to my follow thing. Follows mean nothing to me. So I get this drop down box, and Llama Noises is the first person because I'm always searching him to see if he's live. It's like I got to talk to Llama. All right, guys. Is there anything you want to share before we end?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, we literally did cover everything. I should probably change the thumbnail to a car. All right, chat. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Thanks for being on Schwaaard. Have a great night.
You too.